Hi. Hi, Fruity Cuties. I guess I didn't have the right... I forgot I had that capture on for... Hello. How's it going, everybody? My stream setup's all fucking weird. It doesn't help that I'm... Oh, God. Trying to get everything set up properly. But we're here, finally. Sorry for the late start. What's up, everybody? What's up, Fruity Cuties? I'm Kiwi. I'm here with more Lobotomy Corporation lore reading. We've got more lore to explore. I'm getting closer to the end. I didn't know what stream music to use. I basically just grabbed, like, the first thing that I could find off of the internet. But how are we doing tonight? What's up? What's up? Sorry for the delay, but looks like Bucky's on time, at least. We got my cat here. He, at least, is always willing to be here. Doing pretty good. That's always good. Sorry, I'm, like, yapping as I'm trying to get things set up. It's Fruity Friday. We always love that. I don't know if anyone has any particular Friday traditions that they... Bucky is always on time, except when he isn't. And when he isn't, we just don't say anything. Because we love him. It's never his fault when he's not on time. Okay. I think we've got everything set up properly. I'm just trying to get a couple more things in order. Okay, sorry about that. We'll just work with this. I was trying to go for a little bit more low-key for... Oh. For stream, but I don't have anything else for things to get settled in. No, this is directly from Project Moon. Oops, I disconnected my headphones. God, everything that could go wrong is going wrong right now. It's been 5 years, I know. I went out for milk, and I never came back. I've abandoned my chat, I've abandoned my family. I've abandoned everyone that was ever calm to me. Ever nice to me, calm to me. Now I'm reading things that are on my screen. Oh my god. Let's experiment with some music. Yeah, no kidding. We'll do this. I know it's a big change of pace, but I feel a lot more calm now. My brain is a lot more together. Ah. There we go. You saw a vid use it and it was good? Okay, that would make sense. Oh, okay. Everything is in order now. Now I can move you guys up a little bit on screen. And now we'll get to reading. There we go. Alright. Abnormality O-02-62 Judgment Bird. Class WoW. Bird that used to judge the living in the dark forest, carrying around an unbalanced scale. The scale always tilts in the same direction, but it doesn't know this, as its eyes are covered. Or perhaps it's turning a blind eye to this truth. In fact, the bird was once an even-handed Justicar. Its scale would never neglect the weight of even the smallest sin. The long bird made a scale that was capable of weighing any sin to maintain the peace of the forest. At one point, the bird's eyes could see through anything. The eyes always shone brilliantly, burning like stars in the night sky. But it gave its eyes to the big bird in order to protect the forest. Now only the void fills its eye sockets. The bandage is in tatters, like it could tear off at any second. The bird's face was once covered in gleaming feathers, but they fell out as it spent too much time without sunlight. All that remains is the unjust scale. The long bird continues on, doling out judgment. So this is the, another instance of a corrupt form of idealism. It is tall bird. Being fair and just turning to its unfair scales. Yeah, it's like the idea that justice is blind is like obviously the first thing that you go to, where it's like, oh, it's covered in bandages. But then if justice is blind, is that really such a good thing? Because for justice to be blind, it means that you don't look around at how the scales may be weighted in the favor of one way or the other. So, yeah, and blind ignorance on top of that. It's a very, there's a lot of layers to this one. I think Jaybird is my favorite of. We doing deep takes in the lore? We're doing deep takes all over the place. I mean, this is a lore stream after all. Sephiroth. I'm also ranking all the Abnos, based on my experience and their lore. Jaybird, I love Jaybird. He was my first Aleph gear. He was a treat to work with. I'm putting him... Smallbird I just like because he's cute. Jaybird I like his lore as well. And his gear is incredibly useful. So, it's hard for me to not. I think he's a solid S. I think he's a solid S. For a WoW Abno that gives not only Aleph gear, but pale damage Aleph gear. What, this background music? It's just piano. I got it from I should look it up. I could look it up if I want to, but it's from open source BGM place. It's not related. This is the first time I haven't been playing any like Project Moon stuff. I had some Ruina beat on, but it was a little too upscale for me, and I needed to calm down. Need to breathe. I'm freaking out. Plus, it's much more comfy music for reading. We also get to, I mean, hopefully we don't get any more too violent Abnos, or otherwise we're going to be listening to calm piano music while I describe people's corpses being dismembered. I don't know, and I didn't have enough time to do music. I just kind of worked with what was on my computer. In for 4, out for 2, yeah. We're all good. Alright. But this song does sound like it could be out of a Project Moon game, I'll tell you that much. I love piano music. I wish I hadn't stopped playing piano. Unfortunately, it's not something I can relearn very effectively at this point in my life. This reminds you of the Asian supermarket, Lamau. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Apocalypse bird. This is a weird one. I don't even know how to rank this one. We'll still read it. But because he's not like an actual abno, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Let's figure it out. It is funny that they included work lists with him. I will say that much. I do think that's hilarious that they put that in. Anyway. Enough yapping. Known to come when the world is filled with sin, many employees fear the advent of this abnormality. To talk about this bird, we first need to tell the story of the Black Forest. We must remember that the forest was once so peaceful and beautiful, and then the apocalypse shall follow. The tale of the Black Forest. Once upon a time, 3 happy birds lived in a warm and lush forest. The birds had no names, though the creatures of the forest would call them Big Bird, Long Bird, and Small Bird. Everyone lived freely and happily together in the peaceful forest. The birds wanted the forest to be safe more than anyone else. That way creatures from the outside could visit and have fun. It was a warm and sunny afternoon when the stranger visited the peaceful forest. He was a traveler, pioneer, and prophet, but at the same time he was a nobody. He wanted to enter the forest, but the birds found him suspicious, so they didn't let him in. The stranger, angered, told the birds as he left, "Soon a tragedy will befall the forest. It will be tainted with misdeeds and evil, and there will be constant conflict. The tragedies will only stop when a terrible beast appears and devours everything. The sun and the moon will shine upon the forest no longer. The forest will never go back to what it was before." The birds worried about the prophecy. What if conflicts really break out and a beast shows up to harm the forest like the man said? That's when the birds decided to become the guardians of the forest. They loved this forest more than anyone else did, so they wanted to protect the creatures living in the forest and keep the peace. Big Bird, with its many eyes, decided to watch over the forest for intruders, for Big Bird's eyes could see very far, and can see things we cannot see. Then somebody said, "But what if the beast shows up in the middle of the night when the sky is dark and everyone is asleep?" Worried, Big Bird burned all of his feathers to make an everlasting lamp. Now the creatures of the forest were under Big Bird's constant watch day and night. To keep the forest peace, Longbird weighed the sins of those who entered the forest, for Longbird's scale was fair and just, and could weigh any and all kinds of sin. Then somebody said, "But what if the scale doesn't tip in either direction someday?" Worried, Longbird made a scale that always tipped to one side. That way every judgment would yield a clear verdict. Smallbird decided to punish the creature's wrongdoings with its beak. Then somebody said, "But your beak is so small, no one would find it hurtful." Worried, Smallbird tore its mouth wide so it could swallow any creature in one bite. No one could visit the forest anymore, and bad rumors about the forest began to spread outside. "I heard terrible things happen to any creature that enters the forest. The Big Bird is always watching the creatures of the forest. There's no freedom. The Longbird's scale isn't fair at all. The Smallbird's punishment is so scary." The birds got upset. "We work so hard to protect the forest. Why doesn't anyone appreciate our effort?" Fewer and fewer visitors came to the forest. More and more creatures were complaining. Fights broke out daily, and yet the birds continued to work even harder to make the forest peaceful again. But no, this forest is so vast and wide. The 3 of us aren't enough to protect all of it. But there is no creature to protect this forest but us. If we combined our power, we could be stronger. The day when Big Bird's eyes that could see hundreds of kilometers away, Longbird who could judge any sin, and Smallbird's mouth that could devour everything united into one, darkness fell upon the forest. Creatures screamed in terror and fear at the sight of the bird, and the forest soon fell into mayhem. Then, in the middle of the chaotic cries, someone shouted, "It's the beast! A big scary monster that lives in the black, dusky forest!" "The beast is here?" The 3 birds, now as one, looked around, but there was no one to be seen. The birds began to prowl the forest looking for the beast. The forest would be in trouble if the beast really showed up. But there was nothing. There were no creatures, no sun, no moon, and no beast. All that was left was just a bird and the Black Forest. Since then, there were only nights dark as pitch. Rumor says that there is a terrible beast in the Black Forest where no one lives. Survivor testimony. Every single light in the facility went crazy. They kept flickering and flickering. I couldn't even use my lighter. Then this warm light shone through it all. It looked like a waning twilight or a growing sunrise, though, as we all know, sunlight can't make its way into our facility. Everyone silently gazed at the light. Sudden darkness and a weird ray of light were enough reason to be frightened. It was scarier than anything gory we'd seen there. It was a true fear of the unknown itself. Emitted. Something from afar was coming our way. Incandescent lights like stars from outer space were marching towards us. It looked like Big Bird's eyes, but it wasn't that abnormality. I could hear those long arms scratching the floor. Someone broke the silence with a whisper. That guy over there couldn't run away in time. There was an employee kneeling on the floor. Perhaps he couldn't sense the danger approaching behind him, and once he noticed it was too late, he couldn't even scream. Nobody would have been able to save them. He just meaninglessly struggled to move his legs, desperate to run from the beast. There was no heroic act of someone standing up against the monster, not even a yell to warn him. Everyone was just watching him, waiting for the terrible thing that was about to happen. Each step sent a tremor through the facility. The monster was moving with such slow steps, and it seemed so fast. In the blink of an eye, it devoured the nameless employee in one bite, and right after that, everyone started screaming in chaos. I had gone through handling countless suppressions, but that day, for the first time, I regretted ever joining the company. I was certain I wouldn't get out of there alive. This helplessness overwhelmed me. I couldn't even think about fighting back against the monster, and many others were feeling the same. But I'm the only one who stayed sane enough to write among all the survivors. The company will never tell our newbies about the existence of that monster. However, I wanted to leave them a warning, at the very least. That's why I'm writing this. Hi, Average WoW. I mean, no worries. I arrived late. So... Man, I don't know. This gives so much background for the birds, and it makes their corruption more of a potent thing. This is very much the road to destruction is paved with good intentions. And the apocalypse bird is the culmination of the bird's corruption in seeking perfection. I mean, in a way, it could be almost a description of the city. Like, it's a fable of the city itself. Or of all things, honestly. It's not just one thing. It's very, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. It's good. That's all I can say. This one, I mean... the fuck do I even put for this? We don't even suppress him. He's just there. We'll do that. This is a collective ranking of the bird's lore. Yeah, is the bird the cause of the apocalypse? No, it's not. We don't know. In the middle of the chaotic cry, someone shouted, wait, what was my line again? No, it's, I don't know, man. Here, I found some music that I think will work well. I'm gonna play the Echo the Dolphin soundtrack. We'll do that. Yeah, and Oedipus asks self-fulfilling prophecy. It's good. I don't know. Regardless of what it is, I'm gonna put it in S. Maybe I'll change my mind later. But the gear is just that good that I can't not. Poor Big Bird. I mean, his lore wasn't that good. He's amped up by... I don't know, man. Like, I'm bird biased. He's the weakest of the birds, though. I have such a bird bias, man. Yeah, Big Bird's just a silly little dude. Just a silly little goober. I can't be too... here, we'll keep him in A for now. I can't be too kind on the S tiers. I have to be careful. The birds are goated. I gotta be a little more careful on the S tiers. If I throw everything in S, there's gonna be nothing left. Okay, we'll go to the next. The King of Greed. The first bit of humanity's desire started with the bite of a sweet apple. We've been banished from Eden for that sin, and now we're standing inside a vast orchard. My basket is so large, all the fruits of this world can't make it full. But it is so bad. But is it so bad for lust for honey when there are flowers? After all, we are born to pursue happiness. Happiness became obsession, obsession became greed, and the greed forever solidified to become a golden amber. The happiness in the beginning, still holding a smile, dwells inside. The first seed of desire originated from the pure yearning for happiness. The tiny seed grew larger and larger, hungering for more. Over time, the seed hardened and turned into a piece of a shiny gem. Enticed by its sheen, a starving fish swallowed it, but it only made the fish hungrier. The desires of people usually go unfulfilled. Many desires are abandoned, but they are not completely gone. They hide deep in the subconscious, lurking at the bottom of the lake, ready to spring up at any moment. However, the yearning for happiness may also rear its head from time to time, darting its tongue like a snake. As soon as a tiny piece of bait falls into the river, the hungry fish will come up and snatch it in an instant. We delude ourselves to be highly rational beings who are in full control of these things, but it's such a preposterous belief. It's laughable. We don't have as much control over ourselves as we believe. The magical girl who was no longer a magical girl ate many things. Authority, money, fame, and many other forms of pleasure. She ended up eating away anything in her sights. Now only visceral greed remains. Someone's diary. Many people have secretly wished for a hero. They say there once was something called soul therapy. What does it feel like to have an ill soul? We are all healthy, but maybe all of this is a tragic illusion. Once there were people who tried to change the world. We all remember them. We remember how they met their downfall. Desires. I know of desires that ruin all things. We no longer believe in something, nor do we entertain hope for a miracle. We don't think too much about why they've changed, and we don't blame them, for we have realized that endless desire brings despair. I sometimes feel a terrible dejection, but I do not know where the pain comes from. Many people have secretly wished for a hero. Deep is the sorrow of the world, greed, deeper still than agony. Sadness says, "Be gone, pass away," but greed seeks eternity, seeks deep, deep eternity. This thing's a pain in the ass to work with. I ain't understood anything. I didn't understand a lot of that either. There's a... Damn, that's a lot of words. Too bad I ain't reading them. It's another WoW that gives Aleph gear, which is kind of nice. I feel like the lore kind of misses the mark. Yeah, it's an analogy for happiness and desire unchecked. It's just, I don't feel like it fits into the magical girl thing. Like, I get it. It's like Queen of Hatred and like the King of Greed. And like, it becomes the embodiment of everything it stands against. But at least with the Queen of Hatred, it's like actually a magical girl. In this one, it's not even like half as good. And it's supposed to be in the same family of it. I don't know, man. Giving Aleph gear is awesome, but the fact that this thing breaches if you even, like, breathe in its general direction, and the fact that its lore is kind of like, eh. Its ego gear is carrying it here. I'm gonna put it at high end of C. Because its lore is meh, but its gift is, but its like stuff is great, which is like the inverse of Teddy. So it's probably fine for them to be in the same tier. We'll do that. I think that's how we're doing it. I'm sticking to it. Alright, Abnormality O-04-66, The Little Prince. Wow. Among the employees, it was originally referred to as the Giant Mushroom Chunk. It does appear to be a gigantic mushroom, and it bears some semblance to mold as well. Overall, its appearance, it closely resembles a fungi. It continuously releases spores into the air, visible to the naked eye. A majority of our employees are not fond of this abnormality. Few are broad-minded enough to favor working with some giant mushroom that fills up half a containment unit, spewing out unknown spores. They have dozens of other things to worry about, including other abnormalities to work with. As so few of our employees willingly volunteered to work with it, we could only record the most bare-bones information. Originally, we utilized a shift system to designate what abnormalities our staff were to work with. However, after the magical girl incident a few years ago, we began to give consideration to the opinions of our employees when assigning work. The abnormality produces motile, microscopic airborne spores. They mostly proliferate by invading other organisms through the respiratory systems. It's difficult to notice the initial symptoms from this invasion because the only sensations are a light dyspnea and dry, sandy throat. Thus, it is mandatory to wear a mask when working with this abnormality. When an employee inhales enough spores, bizarre cysts will begin to grow on their body, and tissues will be eroded. Ultimately, they will become a dysmorphic creature whose original form is hardly noticeable. They will show hostility in this state, and they must be terminated on sight. Excerpt from the counseling log. Employee John. John's the only employee who doesn't get his name redacted. Poor John. They didn't care enough to react it. Night of Despair. Yeah, okay, Night of Despair is like actually fine to work with. We'll get to Night of Despair later. There was this one guy who was awfully quiet. He was that guy who'd always glance sideways at us like some kind of fox, as if he were expecting us to talk with him. One peculiar thing about him was that he would volunteer to work on the mushroom chunk, an abnormality everyone loathed to visit. It was also disturbing that he would spend an unusually long time in his containment unit. Who knows what kind of monstrosity might have grown on his body. When we decided to call the abnormality the giant mushroom chunk amongst ourselves, that guy spoke up for the first time, saying he's the one who's seen it the most. He talked a lot of nonsense, like how it didn't deserve to be called a mushroom chunk. Everyone laughed at him. We decided he finally had gone bonkers when he started saying stuff about how he became friends with the damn thing. I mean, it's common enough thing around here. Lots of stuff happens. One person going insane isn't a big deal. We tried to give him a couple hints to take psychiatric tests, but he just gave us this condescending look like he knew something we didn't. And a few days later, he kicked the bucket. This is all we know. Did I mention that it was me who recognized him in that spore mold creature's carcass? The birthmark on his forehead. If we hadn't found that birthmark in that lump of spores, we'd never have guessed it was him. No one actually knew he had a birthmark except me, since, you know, no one in the department was friends with him. After becoming that monster, he just wandered around near the mushroom containment unit. We tried to lure him somewhere less crowded because he was attacking everyone in sight, but he wouldn't move more than 10 meters away from the chunk until he died. This is why we decided to rename the abnormality. Complex reasons like pity for the guy who became friends with a mushroom of all things, and the remembrance of his tragic death. To tell you the truth, he needed a friend. That's why he let himself get infected, going crazy with hallucinations, not knowing that he was turning into a monster. The mushroom, it tamed the poor bastard simply to reproduce. It got Alex, whose name wasn't known by anyone. Employees Alex notes, the human mind is too fragile to visualize something in its truest form. Did you know that mantis shrimp can see hundreds of colors that humans cannot? That simple fact is enough of an example to illustrate my point that it's detrimental to believe and judge everything by relying solely on what you see. I don't actually have many friends. Don't misunderstand me now. I don't want to make a friend. I choose to not make friends. It's not that I can't. It is because we don't understand each other. A person thinks of himself as a completely isolated entity, making it impossible to fully understand others. But ironically, an inherent instinct of mob psychology has survived over the course of our evolution. We repeatedly play a game of Risk, walking a tightrope, vainly trying to understand each other while staying out of our territories. In fact, I was long done with this pointless game. I volunteered to observe the giant mushroom for a similar cause. No one wanted to get close to that abnormality. It must be it must be because of some petty reasons, such as how it looks disgusting to their eyes. The fact that its appearance was slightly alien wasn't going to stop me, in fact. I actually felt a bit superior when everyone seemed surprised that I said I would work with it. Omitted. The abnormality didn't show any notable activity. I recorded and observed the silence with patience. One day, after it spread powders of enchanting colors, I experienced a special change. I could perceive hyperreality on a plane higher than any reality. This was a hand he gave to me. I took it and was rewarded with the invitation to such a special place. It was something only I could achieve. He talked to me telepathically. He welcomed me because I was the only one who could realize his essence. I had been imagining, yearning for the moment to converse through my mind, to be completely understood. The feeling of unification, it was so exhilarating I could barely hide my joy. Omitted. I wanted to get closer to him. I wanted to be part of him. I always thought of him. I wanted to belong to him and understand his world. Like a flower bud about to bloom, my mind was pervaded. I was being tamed little by little. Excerpt of an audio record. This is a part of the footage caught by surveillance camera in the containment unit. As the abnormality spores completely obscured the visual feed, only the audio could be extracted. Judging from the content of the recorded conversation, we deemed it safe to assume that the abnormality spores contained hallucinatory agents. Because even after a thorough analysis of the audio record, no voice other than the employees could be detected. The employee infected by the spores suffered a severe state of frenzy before being shot down by another employee on the spot. No, I don't have any friends. Like I said before, I'm not fond of such contradictory relationships. At the very least, I think you could be my friend. The human language is too simple to illustrate this relationship, but I think we could settle on friends. Yes, I'm your one and only friend. I shall accept you. My life has been changed ever since I met you. I had been living my whole life feeling depressed without a sense of purpose, without talking to anyone, just working all day, but you redeemed me. A person who abandoned oneself. Just like how I could participate in your true essence, you saw through mine. It is a truly rapturous experience. I'd like to understand you. I'd like to become a being like you and love you. I was born human, lived a tedious life, and might have kept doing it had I not been for you. I was so happy that I met you. Please remember me. Please remember the nameless flower that bloomed just for you. Even if this turns to be a curse, I will love this curse like a blessing. I will think about you to the day my mind collapses and crumbles. I'll close my eyes, thinking only of my soul friend who came from the faraway universe. Afterward, a faint sound of air leaking from the abnormality could be heard before all went silent. It's very interesting. I like when they have, like, some more descriptive logs like this. I also really like his gift. I just have a thing for mushrooms. I think mushrooms are just really funny. And they're really cute. I like his gift a lot. Or his weapons. He's alright. I didn't really have a chance to work with him very much. He's a very interesting Abno. He's like a combination of all the sorts of things about fungus. Like, he's a fungi. He's a combination of a lot of things, like fungi as hallucinatory agents. Fungi as, like, mycelium, where they, like, mind control things, like they're the walking, like the Walking Dead or, The Last of Us kind of thing. They're also, strange creatures that have, because fungi themselves aren't animal, they're not plant, they're almost alien in the way that they interact with the world around them. There's nothing like them, almost as if they are alien. Ununderstandable, not plant, not animal. It's just, they're just mushrooms. He's just a fun guy, like you said. Ugh. We should be scared of them. Dude, I don't know, man. They're bringers of the apocalypse, but they're also tasty on my burger. Definitely A tier. I don't remember what I used this in place of. God, now I want some mushroom pizza, man. I might go get pizza after this, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, anyway. I know, I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I'm dieting right now too. I'm not even dieting, I'm just trying to eat well. Pizza, it technically has all the food groups. Alright, next. Latidia O-01-67 He class. Similar to a child in size and always maintaining a bright smile. A very, very adorable little kid. They call me an adorable little kid because I am a small and lovely child. The kid comes from a place far away, and when the kid meets someone she likes, she will give them a gift made all by herself. The gift's content is a secret, though. This is another really, really important secret, but the kid has lots of talents. This girl has many friends, but they said she can't bring them here. She was so sad that she had to leave her dear friends behind, so she came up with a brilliant idea. If I cover up my friends nicely and make it look like a gift, everyone will be surprised. They'll all laugh together over my prank. Whoops, there goes the little secret of the gift. I hope they find lots of friends here too. The kid is shy, so the gift will be given in secret. Farewells are sad. I hope we can play it more. And people here don't smile. That looks so gloomy. So this little lady made a decision to stay here and never leave until laughter is restored to this place. It will be happy if everyone is pleased with my pranks. Oh, yeah, it's crumbling armor. You're right. You're right. That's not the mushroom to put on the pizza, but you know what? Maybe I'll do it just for fun. What a weird lore log. What is she supposed to represent? What do we think she's supposed to represent? Like, she's alright. Like, this is a solid C tier for me. Like, she's going right in the middle. Wishing for everyone to be happy. Power of friendship. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what the downside of it is. Because it's a lot of... Everything is like... Because usually abnormalities represent both the good and the bad of the ideas that they're meant to, like, manifest as. Friendship and maybe possessiveness. Like, maybe that's the other fact, because she's technically possessed, like, the individual that she's given her gift to. Or how people take a piece of someone's friendship with them. I don't know. A lot of subtext that could be there. She's alright. I think I'm gonna put her in bottom of C. Nah, she's going above Allurine. She's going above Allurine. The more I think about it, the more I want to put Allurine in D. But top of D. Is getting crowded. I don't know, man. This we're fine with this. I'm fine with this. Yeah, Sliceout's there. He's always there. He's always watching. Ah, T-01-68, the funeral of the dead butterflies. He class. Where does one go when they die? Where did all the employees who worked here go? They must have returned home to a haven where family and warmth wait. The employees cannot leave. Once they join the company, the only way to leave is to resign. Then those resigned employees must have returned home, having earned what they wanted and being full of hope. Where are the feathers of a wing? Resignation is not as simple as you'd think. Just like how a feather doesn't detach from a wing of its own will. Then where did all the resigned employees go? They're bound to the company the moment they enter. Even if they do resign, they are doomed to stay here forever. Long ago, in some world, people believed that they would become beautiful beings with small wings when they died. It's a silly story, nonsensical too. If we get wings, will we be able to leave this place? Do we get our wings after we retire? They say the mourner with a huge luggage on its back has come to be a savior to all. Eventually, he himself was trapped in this place. Now he wanders the company with only the memory of an empty faith. He's carrying a coffin, a large coffin, to pay tribute to the employees that have nowhere to go. However, it is still too small to comfort those innocent sacrifices. Inside is a kaleidoscope of butterflies waiting for the moment to fall asleep. Until then, they flutter their wings endlessly. The wings that may have been jumbled into one, or one split into many. Butterflies are supposed to pollinate flowers, but not a single proper flower blooms in this place. There's no choice but to wait. After all, there must be an end to every world. Yeah, this one's definitely acceptance, grieving, death in and of itself. He breaches when an employee with fortitude level 4 or higher works with him. Or justice level 2 or lower. I don't know how that plays into the subtext of this. I think it's like if people have become if their fortitude is high, they've become too immune to death. But if their justice is too low, they don't understand the they don't understand the
purpose of death. That's my take, I guess. Like, they don't understand the righteousness of death itself. Like, as a Reaper, he doesn't have respect for someone that doesn't have a sense of justice. He's a really cool Abno. The fact that he gives WoW gear on top of that, and the fact that his WoW gear is flippin' awesome, too, is really cool. Justice has a connection with death and myth, with stuff like Anubis' scale. Yeah. Jealousy of the living and disgust for those who do not respect death. Yeah, jealousy of the living is a good idea, because you have more health when you have higher fortitude. That's definitely true, Cheez-It. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. You are spot on that. Oh man, I really want Funeral when next Walpurgis Nacht comes around. I'm putting him up here. For the drip alone. Sorry, dummy, you're going down. For the drip alone, we're putting him up here. The drip, like, he's annoying to work with, but that doesn't, but he's easy enough to repress. He gives great gear. It's all of the things, Naira. We're doing all of the thing. We're rating this Abno on everything. My experience working with them, their lore, their ego. Whoa. I want when the next Walpurgis Nacht comes around, Yisang has a solemn lament identity, and I really want the identity. I mean, I wouldn't mind Gregor's ego either, but I really want Yisang's identity for my sinking team. If you could wear any gear strictly cosmetically, Justicia. Justicia, 100%. So cool. I would buy a jacket with it. Yeah, Gregor has a solemn lament ego. Gregor's solemn lament ego is the only ego that I've seen people use to get like that mirror dungeon achievement of like however much insane damage, because you can Gregor has like an actual like ego, like a solemn lament ego. He doesn't have an ID, he has an ego skill. Gregor has a solemn lament ego skill, Yisang has the solemn lament ID. But yeah, Gregor's Solemn Lament is the only thing that I've seen do like the insane amount of damage for that mirror dungeon achievement. Because if you use it back to back to back to back, it keeps stacking. So basically people would just get a shit ton of ego gifts and then would just use the... or how does it work? Did he... I don't remember exactly how he did it. I don't know if he just dodged to get like a ton of like damage up and then just used it. I don't remember exactly how it worked. I don't remember how the passive works. It's pretty cool though. Anyway. It tells you a lot about a game who put literal death itself in a mid-threat level. There are some things worse than death. Well, thank you for the Kiwi cult check-in, and I will drink. I will drink, Cheez-It. Thank you. Oh god, I spilled that water all over me. What the fuck? What's wrong with me? Yeah, like the IRS. I did my taxes today. Don't forget to do your taxes, kids. If you're of tax age. I got myself a refund. That's how I got my Thank you, government. You've paid for my VTuber avatar. The government gave me a free anime boy. I paid them too much, so they gave me an anime boy in return. You get a default nugget with the name Leaked Ghost. I didn't even know they put that in there. That's really funny. I wonder what that's a reference to. Alright, anyway. Ah, the GOAT! The GOAT himself, der Freischütz. F-01-69. Do I have a final VTuber avatar design? I'm still workshopping with the person that's doing my model, but we have a lot of things that we want to nail down for the design. The GOAT! That's why he's the GOAT, baby! Alright, lore. The devil ultimately wished for despair wears down the mind and drains one's will to go onward. When one feels there's nothing left to go for, their soul falls down to hell, the devil's domain. This is why the devil finds it more entertaining to watch people fall into despair rather than simply kill them. We describe it as selling one's soul to the devil. When a marksman received a gun from the devil proposed a childish contract. The last bullet would puncture the heart of his beloved. The moment he heard that, he sought and shot all the people he loved. Then he told the devil, "This magical bullet can truly hit anyone, just like you say." With the last bullet gone for good, the hunter traveled to numerous worlds. Sometimes he helped those in need, or fought evil, but it was all done on impulse, not a gesture of goodwill or ideals. In one world, he was called a righteous hunter, while in another, he was a blood-stained gunman. One day, the marksman realized the devil no longer followed him. He pondered why, then realized that his soul had already fallen to hell from the beginning. The contract had already been fulfilled, so the devil had left. The marksman, now a devil himself, continues to pull the trigger to gather the souls of others. Just as the devil said, the bullet will puncture anything you please, forever. Do I have any tips for Spice Bush? Yeah, this guy's also going to be an easy S, just because he carried me, and also I like the lore. Spice Bush, man, it's been a while since I did that fight. Are you referring to first stage or second stage? I'm assuming second stage. Oh, because Spice Bush is second stage, if I remember correctly. God, I haven't done that fight in ages. I don't remember, like, anything. I'm gonna be completely honest. Avoid seeds, or if you get seeds, like, if someone's gonna build up seed, yeah, this is a Limbus fight. Like, plug your ears for like 30 seconds if you don't want to hear. But yeah, just block the seeds attacks, or make sure that only one person is getting seeds for defense skills, because if you get like if you get more than 3 of your time, if you get more than like 3 of your units captured by bushes at one time, you're kind of boned. Yeah, it's hit it harder than it hits you. Just mind the seed count. That's basically all I can say. Like, your units are going to get kidnapped at some point, so you might as well try to space it out. For Cromer, just you gotta hit her harder than she hits you. That's really it. Cromer's just a stat check. She's early enough in Limbus's design that she doesn't have a lot of, like... Yeah, she unfortunately does not have a lot of gimmicks to her, aside from you just have to clash harder. I don't have a lot of... She heals from bleed and you run bleed. Well, that's what I mean, Rama. She's a stat check, as in, like, you just kind of throw bullshit at her If you're strong enough, you'll beat her, and if you're not, you don't. Yeah, if you use bleed and she heals from it, that's unfortunate, but anyway. May have to switch out some units. Yeah, Dear Fry, easy S. Easy S. Easy top of the ladder. This Abno carried me through the game. Between early game solo Jolos, between him finishing off Gibora fight, clearing out employees before days that we needed death sensitive Abnos. This guy is the GOAT through and through. You have 2 charged units, but they're not leveled. I mean, uncaffeinated, you'll get there eventually. Eventually, even with your bleed IDs, you'll be able to beat her. I had a bleed team at the time that I battled her, and I just was able to level up enough that I was able to get her done. It's tough, but you just kind of gotta... sometimes you just get to fights in Limbus where you have to just kind of sit and wait and level up. And that's all you can do. Joe must be really enjoying his rest after that purgatory called Lobotomy Corporation. He died on the final day. He died for our sins, man. He was the devil, but he was also our angel. That's why Joel was the GOAT, because he wielded the GOAT. Yeah, no, it's... What, someone asked what they thought he represented. Someone thought, Dare Fry definitely represents, like, ambition. Or, like, the cost of ambition. Or becoming what you thought you could avoid. There's a lot of, like, idea of, like, fate and the inevitable and death finding all. He's another one of the Reapers. Like, between him and Butterflies are really, like, the 2 sides. Both of them are gun abnos. Both of them have to deal with death. But Butterflies is more of the idea of peace, whereas Dare Fry is the they're 2 sides of the coin, where it's like those who run from death and those who embrace it, kind of thing. I don't know. He instantly killed his loved ones without thought, though. But yeah, he's the violent hunter, whereas Solemn Lament is the... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, Funeral's angry at the idea of not respecting death, whereas Dare Fry has no respect for... Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, man. These are some high-level concepts. I feel like I'm in, like, my English literature. It represents, like, death is inevitable and should be made quick. Oh, man, my English class didn't prepare me for this, man. Anyway. Should have taken German. I don't think that would have helped me here. Alright, anyway, continuing. F-02-70 Dream of a Black Swan. WoW class. Elijah had a large family to provide for. Her impoverished parents would say, although we don't have anything to pass on to you, we have the most valuable treasure, honesty and diligence. These may not be of great help to you now, but they will make all of you happy someday. One day a dense fog covered the city. The hazy fog, thought to be a natural phenomenon at first, didn't dissipate even after a few days had passed. Some claimed it was making them feel nauseous or making them retch, but most people thought nothing of it. A lot of people continued to work and go about their days in the fog. Of course, Elisha was one of the people who had to be okay with it. She was the only family member with a proper job, and inheritance of poverty had left them in huge debt. Elijah had several brothers, but their wills were broken after being faced with several failures. Elijah was always tired, but she thought if she worked a little harder, things would work themselves out. Just like what her parents used to say to her, just like in the fairy tales. Just like that bird who eventually spread its white wings and became the envy of all. Some people left the city to escape the fog. They said the city was done for. Elijah didn't listen. Elijah felt queasy at times. She felt her whole body blistering. Almost there, just a little more. If she held out just a little longer, the clothes made of nettles would be complete. And if she threw them to her brothers she once loved dearly, then the days when her family lived harmoniously could be restored. One day, on the way home from work, she bumped into a pedestrian running at full speed. Though the pedestrian who crashed into her was at full sprint, he was unable to get back up, so she offered him a helping hand, asking if he was all right. He slapped her hand away and got up on his own. The pedestrian took a few faltering steps before collapsing again. The man seemed like he was running away from something. He seemed worried that Elijah would hurt him. Elijah tried to ask him what is wrong, however, the pedestrian opened his mouth first. The simple act of opening his mouth seemed labored, so she patiently waited for him to talk. The pedestrian didn't open his mouth to speak. He began to vomit a mixture of blood and waste. The gooey mixture poured from his mouth at first. It gushed out of his ears, nose, and eyes. If he hadn't been expelling it from all of his orifices, then Elijah might have tried to help him. Elijah thought she heard a shout in the distance. She left the vomiting man behind and started to walk slowly. What happens when the black swan wakes up from the dreaming of a white swan? There were many people amidst the fog, some screaming, some laughing, some wielding clubs, some curled up, bodies covered in wounds, dark, wet, and fetid dregs were scattered all over the ground, covered in footprints. She began to look for her brothers, her family who needed to wear the nettle clothing to be free from the curse, ones whom she shared happy dreams with. She saw her brothers in the distance. Elijah fell to her knees and finally started to puke up the thing everyone else was vomiting. The lake ripples gently, as if a number of swans just took flight. So it seems to be referencing the Smoke War. Again. I don't know what this means, though. It doesn't really help anything with the Abno. I don't know, man. I don't like this Abno. It freaks me out. I don't like blonde people. They scare me. Like, cool lore, I guess, but, like, I don't like him. I'm blonde, too. I hate myself. Well, I don't know. I'm weird. My hair is really weird. My hair could be, like, any color right now, it feels like. Like, literally, when I was born, my hair was completely black. Then it all fell out. I was completely bald. Then it grew in shock white blonde. And now it's like, I don't know, dirty blonde. Red sometimes. I'm weird, man. I'm a freak, man. I'm a freak. RGB hair? Bro, I know. The hair change depends on its mood. Be crazy. I'm like a cuttlefish. Maybe that's what I should have been. Maybe I should have been a cuttlefish VTuber, man. I heard chemo does that to people. I actually didn't lose any hair from chemo. I also kind of had to stop chemo, though, in the middle of it because I was allergic to chemotherapy medicine. So they had to be like, nope, We're not giving you any more of that. They gave it to me for a while, but then I just kept throwing up. And they didn't like that, so... Yep, I am allergic to carboplatin. It is a type of chemotherapy medication. But I'm better now. They treated me other ways, so... I'm stable. I'm not dying. Oh, I should unpin the message saying I'm gonna be late. I had cancer. Yep. I'm in a wheelchair. Cancer took my legs. But I kicked its ass. Yeah, random Kiwi lore. Now you know. Cancer fucking sucks, man. Ugh. Anyway. The Dreaming Current. Abnormality T-02-71. A legless kiwi bird is just a fruit if you don't think about it. It's true, I guess. I might be a fruit, but I'm also a vegetable. Bucky, did you like that joke? Was that a good joke? Bucky didn't have anything to say. All right. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be reading an abnormality log. Sorry, chat. I hit you with that one, and now I gotta read. Sorry. Just keep showing him the book. Oh, and it has to be the page with pictures, since he probably can't read. When the experiment seemed to drag on, try to draw his attention, like mimicking sounds. I don't need to explain every detail, right? Yes, I know, it's unfortunate, pitiful and sad. I do feel human emotions, thank you very much. However, he ultimately survived thanks to this place. I hope he continues to live in any shape or form. If you're thinking the same thing, it'd be better off that if you dropped that guilt right now. Tell the kid today's treat is going to be grape-flavored candy. It's his favorite. Could be a stand-up comic at this place, or, you know, sit-down comic. Hey, if I'm a sit-down, I bring my own chair wherever I go, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to bring one out for me. Excerpt from an encyclopedia. Contrary to popular belief, most sharks are small in size. There are only a handful of species that cause harm to humans. After all is said and done, the biggest appeal of sharks is their strong jaws and teeth. A shark's jaw can apply an intense amount of force, around 20 times that of an adult human, besides, their vision and olfactory senses are extremely well developed, allowing them to locate their targets easily. This is why sharks could reign as the ocean's greatest predator until today. Parents had long deserted the child. They said the old infection would kill the child before 2 years passed. The researchers were the child's new parents. He learned to coo and walk. Although unable to talk properly, the child liked the ocean. Instead of visiting the ocean, the child was given candy, which would let him see the ocean. Many colorful nights and days passed. The child, who was thought to die in 2 years, managed to live for a long time. As always, he liked sweet candy, followed them, and loved the place as his home. Though the only thing the child could do was run around inside a cramped lab instead of a grass field under the sun. His steps were shaky but filled with enthusiasm, excited about what kind of candy he would eat tomorrow. So is this supposed to be him? Yeah, if you wanted to see the ocean, you would have drank some well cheers. Drink well cheers, baby. Man, that's a really interesting... Yeah, addiction and perseverance and hallucinogenics. Yeah. It would explain why it looks so trippy. It wouldn't surprise me if the Abno is a child. It wouldn't surprise me. Wonder how chaotic Lobotomy agent fight would look without the cognition filters. I don't know, man. Probably like your average Limbus fight, if not a little bit nuttier. Or is it the sickness the child got? I mean, all abnormalities are people, or started as people. So whether this was someone that was addicted to something, or literally the kid, I guess we'll never know, will we? Yeah, some of the Abnos are a child, yeah. Oh, we gotta rate this. At that point, Virgilius level fight is a common fight. Speaking of Virgilius, that's, I also like his gift. I think it's cute. He was the first Aleph we've seen in Limbus. I'm excited to see when we will have, Aleph class, ego and, enemies. You're gonna stay off stream until you finish LobCorp? Oh, for sure. That's fine, I'm caffeinated. This will be my last stream that I'll do about it, and then it'll be... Or at least after you play Ruina. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. No worries. Yeah, that's fair to want to stay unspoiled. It's kind of weird that we don't this far. I mean, the game's not even, like, half over, bro. We still got stuff. Armageddon Virgilius, he's a person in, he's a character in Limbus Company. Anyway, the Burrowing Haven. Or Heaven, sorry. The Burrowing Heaven. O-04-72, the Burrowing Heaven. Verge isn't an Abno, though. No, but he's classified as an Aleph threat. We put, I put the current on the bottom of A, I believe. Yeah, I put him on the bottom of A. Yeah. Okay, anyway. I continue. A thorny abnormality that feeds on the gaze of others and sometimes stretches its wings. Don't look away from it, just keep your eyes on it. It lives in your gaze. The containment is but a facade. Contain it in your sight. Blinking is okay, it will tolerate such a brief moment of disruption. However, once it recognizes that it's lost your attention and focus, it will spread its wings. Yes, wings. As if to praise a long-forgotten god, its lean, bloody wings will stretch and cover the whole corridor. The wings still bear fruit, using fresh corpses as food. If it still fails to gain your attention, it will stalk and the stalks will pierce the facility and grow towards a sunny spot. Like an angel, its wings will reach the skies and extend towards the ground, eventually blocking the sun out. But there is still hope. When you finally turn your eyes and bring it within your cognizance, it will return to this deep, dark, subterranean area. That is, if you manage to survive by then. That's what a gaze is. Attention. An invisible string that connects us. Sole focus. Do not come here, as there is no space for you to rest. Is this what you wanted to see? When your tears dry up at last, tell me your answer. No, no lore drop or anything like that. It's just kind of... Burrowing Heaven. I'm trying to, like, figure out the name. It will return to its dark subterranean... This deep, dark subterranean area. That's what a gaze is, attention, an invisible spring that connects us, sole focus. It is the desire to be the center of attention. I just don't understand the name. Specifically, I don't understand the way that the name goes. I don't know. No way to speculate much further, but he's a pretty cool Abno. He's fine to work with. Obviously, he kills some employees. Religious connotation within the Spear of Longinus and the Crown of Thorns and whatnot. Yeah. I don't like the burrowing part is that he returns to the Deke. It's a heaven that burrows into your gaze. Yeah, I guess it's like the idea that you're worshiping it by looking at it, or the idea of giving attention is the idea of worship. Burrows into your gaze. Okay. I'm putting him in A. I like him. Obviously he kills things, but... Gaze is also the name of the Schadenfreude ego. True. That as well. They're both I Abnos, so wonder if that's the next one. Watch it be the next one. Oh no, it's not. Never mind. Okay, the Night of Despair. O-01-73. An abnormality of despair that has gone through a repeated cycle of faith and betrayal, leaving only the emotion that is expressed through black tears. A hero of the past who used to be a guardian of justice, she dedicated her entire life to protect the king, the state, the city, and the weak. The knight had to uphold the laws of God and the pursuit of valor, chivalry, and justice. However, after a long history fraught with hardship and conflict, the knight realized, in retrospect, that nothing was truly upheld on her watch. The truth changed a lot of people. One who fought for good became evil upon realizing that there was no evil left in the world. One who dreamed of a world where everyone could be happy was tinged with greed and started to devour everything. Like them, so many things once thought to be forever constant faced changes and perished. Who said a knight never cries? Have you ever seen tears brought out by despair, not sadness? The endless stream of grief has long turned the eye sockets into hollow husks. Inside, black diamonds sometimes fall down like ashes. The will to protect seems to remain unchanged after all this time, even in containment. It is still obsessed with the act of protection. All that remains is the hollow pride of a weathered knight. The tenacity of the hero who cannot leave the past behind. It is a pitiful sight. When justice turns its back once more, several dozen blades will rove without a purpose. In shame of failing to defend you once again, and in rage against the world, the swords will eventually point at those she could not protect. The knight who wanted to redeem herself by saving others was now dishonorably called the Knight of Despair, forgotten from the people's memory, just like the others. We never get to see her breach. So I never got to see what she looks like. The person who always got her blessing never died. Because she breaches if the person that she's protecting... she breaches if the person that is protecting dies. She looks the same, but with 3 spears hovering around her. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, you could put it in the Discord if you like. Just so I can see it. Take a look. Oh, yeah. The side of her face that's illuminated changes. Oh, it's animated too. I didn't even notice that. Okay, so that's her. She was really nice to me in the facility for not breaching. Her ego gift was pretty cool. Her ego weapon didn't get a lot of use, but she was a nice WoW class. And for that, she's hanging out right next to her colleague. Or partner in crime. Yeah, I forget Queen of Hatred's ego is just better. You know what? I'm adjusting things. There we go. Messed up that Red Shoes is up there. You're partly responsible for that. I just have so much. It's just fun to spite you enough that I put it up there. I just had to. No. Red Shoes is better. No. I'm gonna be a petulant child. Because it's fun. Because I like being a petulant child. Oh, we're out of Echo soundtrack. We're looping it, and I don't care. Yeah, the incredibly rare breach. We only had this thing breach like once, and I was working with it for a really, really long time. If you spot an employee whose face is turning dark green, please report it to the department's Sephiroth immediately. Be advised to verify that the cause of discoloration is not a simple stomach ache. When suggested to visit the medical ward, those who have a stomach ache would reluctantly agree, but an infected employee would try too hard to act as though nothing is wrong. In this situation, try not to alert the employee that anything is out of the ordinary. When the host becomes agitated, the infection will speed up. If the skin begins to change, that means at least 30% of the host's brain has already been consumed. Any conversion at this point is the abnormality's attempt to mimic the host's behavior, so don't pay it any mind. The abnormality resides inside the host's brain, and the host will not be able to feel any physical sensation. You can try stabbing the employee with something sharp, feigning it as a mistake, but this is not recommended. Not recommended. Wow, how did I overpronounce that? As mentioned before, the host should already be around 30% merged with the abnormality, so conversing will be impossible. It can enter your body through any aperture. This doesn't mean covering up your orifices will impede its entrance, but it will help ease your mind to cover up as much as possible when you enter the containment unit. The naked nest's final destination is the frontal lobe. You will become the serpent's nest, attacking anything in sight. Please understand that we will be forced to fire on sight and burn your corpse, should you become the nest. Okay. So it's just bugs. Infection. The ego gear looks kind of cool. I don't know, man. Like, he was fine to work with. He's fine to work with. Middling on the scale. He's a justice trainer. Like, at least he's not problematic to work with. I'm putting it next to Spiderbud, where it's the just a bug Abno. Oh yeah, it's not Justice, it's a red trainer, you're right. That even puts him lower. Fuck them bugs. I need some water, man. I'm getting dehydrated. I'm leaning more towards dihydrate than hydrate right now. I need to hydrate. I'm going to die. Bucky's like, what the fuck are you saying? What are you tweaking, bro? Yeah, I am tweaking. What about it? Tweaker's gonna tweak. Okay. Oh, alright, let's keep cruising. Pizza's calling me. I need my food. I need my food. Okay. Abnormality, Mountain of Smiling Bodies, T-01-57. Yeah, everyone's a justice trainer with enough gambling, you're right. Oh god, this thing. Aleph. It's not like these kinds of things happening is uncommon here, but one day dozens of employees were killed in an incident. The reaction is the same as always. Something breaches, they attempt to stop it, then it leads to another breach. The one fortunate thing was that the department was sealed off before things could get any worse. So they all died in the same place. Literally, a mountain of bodies was formed. Obviously, no one wanted to clean up that mess, so naturally it should have been taken care of within the day, but because the incident was just so horrific and everyone was so exhausted, the cleanup was delayed with authorization from the department's Sephiroth. Don't ask me which department it was, and I don't remember all the details. When left out in the open, the corpse began to rot within a few hours. Most of the bodies that die here are damaged in one way or another, so they decay even faster. You probably don't know it yet, but most of the employees here are rather skilled at cleaning up dead bodies. Tidying up over and over will make anyone an expert at it, whether you want to or not. Let's say someone you were just talking to about dinner plans died horrifically. With your repeated experience to help you, you won't be vomiting or running away at least. Oops, sidetrack a little there. Anyway, in normal circumstances, the mountain would have been removed quickly, but it remained in the department for quite a long time, so it decayed, melted, corroded, and broke down following the laws of nature. That's how its creation began. From the mountain of bodies, the dead gave life to something. Amazed yet? I've still got more to tell you. The dead fused with one another, all smiling, sharing body parts, at least those that were still intact. They became each other's legs and mouths. That doesn't mean their consciousness had also been restored, though. It only wants one thing, our flesh drenched in blood. When there's an announcement of someone's death, the first thing you should do is check if this thing's quarantined. Once it gets a whiff of the scent, it will pursue us in an instant. The smiling faces are unfamiliar yet sorrowful. The more bodies it comes across, the more defined its shape becomes, and it is never satisfied. I'm telling you this because it's almost here. Accidents always happen to this place. Some may spare a bit of their time for a moment of silence, but most will run away thinking, again? At the very least, one thing was done right. That is the department's been sealed off. I'm the only one left anyways. Did you learn anything from my story? What kind of lesson can be learned from a story as horrible as this, you may ask? It's similar to most fairy tales. Don't be lazy, is the lesson. When my voice ceases, come here and clean up your colleagues in exactly 3 minutes. Pretty soon, I won't be able to keep talking. I am about to swallow a large bomb. Time's running out. Blood is flowing all around here. I'm starting to see the smiling faces now. Something you don't see much of around here. Don't be surprised when you hear a loud explosion. Like I said, it's precisely 3 minutes. I'm sure a bomb this size will be able to suppress it. The last body it finds will be mine. This definitely screams SCP type Abno. I don't like dealing with this thing. Oh, but I mean, it's an Aleph. He's just a hungry fella. Oh man. It's pretty easy as far as Alephs go. I guess I just got him when I was not ready for him. I don't know. He's alright. It's alright. I like the log. I think the log is pretty neat. I'll put him... and being an Aleph that's not absolutely terrible to deal with gives him points. You know what? Fuck it. Why not? We'll put him in S. I'm feeling nice. I'm feeling nice. What the hell, man? What the hell? Why not? Does it have a stop growth, technically? I have no idea. I've reset by the time that it's gotten anywhere. Maybe there's some way to find out, but that's a question for someone who's more brave than me. Schadenfreude. Me and the child are green now. O-05-76 He class. In a mechanical abnormality capable of walking on its own, someone's persistent gaze can be felt from the keyhole inside the machine. It blinks, but it never closes. The purpose of the eye or what it's observing is unknown. After several experiments, it has been discovered that when one or more employees stare at the abnormality, the condition becomes far worse. Experiment D002. An employee went in after covering their eye with a thick cloth. The cloth must be made from a fine, opaque material. Tests must be conducted to ensure the cloth completely blocks their vision. After entering the abnormality's containment unit, they face the direction of the abnormality for 10 seconds. No reaction. Experiment D003. Similar to experiment D002, an employee was sent in with their eyes covered. The cloth was identical to the one used in D002, but allowed the employee to discern some forms. After entering the containment unit of the abnormality, they faced towards the abnormality for 10 seconds. After 5 seconds, it aggressively approached the employee. Experiment halted. Experiment D004. This time, a blind employee was sent in without any eye covering. The employee faced the abnormality for more than 30 seconds. There was no reaction. Please dispose of the subject using D004 immediately. Damn, bro. It really said, fuck them cripples. I would not survive at Lobotomy Corporation, man. Do you think the first stream you watched of me was figuring this guy out? God, that was a suffering stream. Memo: when training employees who have never worked with this abnormality before, it goes without saying, but please make sure to tell them to not look at the abnormality directly. If someone raises doubts about this, tell them what happened to employee Yumi who did not follow the instructions and stared directly at the abnormality. Memo 2. Employee Yumi can no longer be in charge of this abnormality. She claims that she is under constant surveillance, but this is a preposterous accusation, and we believe that she has a severe delusional disorder. Most of what she says is nonsense, but to put it simply, she claims that someone keeps watching her, whether she's eating or going to the restroom. Also, whenever she sees something like a keyhole or a crack in the door, she would become hysterical and try to seal any hole that she sees. However, that's more aggravating. What's more aggravating is that her mental corruption levels read normal, which makes it difficult for us to dispose of her by the system. Please replace her soon. Memo 3. Oh, the request we made before was resolved. Employee Yumi was found in her room. She covered all the holes in her room with duct tape, including the vent. She stabbed her eyes out with a pen. The delusional disorder seems to have been resolved as well. She's not muttering nonsense anymore, however. I have to wonder why you would want to send a blind employee to the containment unit again. I don't know what experiment D004 is about, but I don't think it will do much good. Okay, so it just doesn't like being looked at. He's just a shy boy. This thing, for the state of being what he is, he's very interesting. Because he's the first abnormality that I ran into that was like, oh, I have to look at this thing the entire time. I have to not look at this thing the entire time I'm working with it. Easy to suppress if you let him breach. He's so stupid. I love him. He's funny. I think Heaven's better than him, but I'm putting him in A. Gimmicky. I think that's fun, though. I think that's interesting. I think that's a cool feature. So I'm putting them in A. You see a gimmick, I see something that's interesting, so I'm gonna take it. I see an interesting design space. Alright. Heart of aspiration, a heart without an owner. It still beats even after being removed from the body. When borrowed, its rate of contraction will double, enhancing the borrower's vigor and strength. Excessive aspiration would bring about an unwarranted frenzy. Employees who did not attack any targets before returning the heart, or those who returned the heart within 30 seconds, had entered a state of derangement, repeating mindless killings with their enhanced strength. Yeah, now we're finally getting the tools. Yeah, we're finally getting the tools. I mean, like... I don't know what to do with the tools, man. They have so much lore. They could have at least even given them lore, man. Like, they could have given them lore, too. But they didn't. Let's at least rank them in order of, like, decency. Okay, I like the heart. The heart's fine. It's not terrible. It stays in tool tier. It's one of the better tools, but it's still a tool. Notes of a crazed researcher. The old notes are full of incomprehensible cursive letters and writings. They once belonged to a researcher who had gone mad during their work. It's only partially been deciphered, but most of it relates to the various experiments that were conducted at this place. It begins with guilt and confessions of unethical experimentation, but gradually spirals into madness, overrun with insane and broken up sentences about research towards the end. The final chapter ends with the phrase, "born again." One's observational skill will improve just by holding this item, however, if it is returned without fulfilling the yearning for knowledge, the incompetent shall explode. I don't like this one. Like, it's fine, but I don't like it. We'll just start ranking them here. We'll start going in order. Flesh idol. A meshing of flesh and scrap metal. It is speculated to be a religious artifact found in the flooded district. In the past, some people sought answers through religion. When an employee offers up a prayer, the flesh begins to move as if receiving an oration. The supplicant will suffer various ordeals in a manner like being put through a trial. Meanwhile, all those around them will recover their ails and woes just as they were being blessed with redemption. And the prayer shall inevitably end with the eternal despair of its worshipper. Interesting. Yeah, this one is an interesting one. At least it's like a cool tool. A cool tool. At least it's a cooler tool. It actually has like a more unique gimmick to it. But it's still a tool, Abno. Where it's like you really aren't going to use it. Like, you're not going to use it. There's no point in using it. You can't get energy from it. You're not going to heal your employees if you have an option to just literally let them sit in a department. But it's at the top for now, so. Giant tree sap. Sap of a nameless gigantic tree that roots itself on the edge of the world. According to the exploration team, there were a large number of life forms around it with scorched green tint. This was because the sap makes them satiated and contained potent healing agents. However, some of our employees who drank the sap melted, leaving smoldering green remains. Other various experiments confirmed the probability of melting rapidly increases as more sap is consumed. Many wondered how such a large tree could prosper all the way out in the barren outskirts. The life forms who consumed its sap became its nutrients. Sooner or later, the tree simply reaped from what it sowed. See, this is actual lore. Look at that. We've got our first tool Abno with actual lore. Look at that. You know what? Just for that, congratulations. You have lore and you're useful. Taking roots on the edge of the world? An edge? The world is flat. Take that, round earthers. I didn't know that we'd be doing Kiwi conspiracies today in chat. Alright, mirror of adjustment. Assumes the shape of cheval glass, but nothing is reflected on its surface. The only thing it shows is people. When facing oneself in the mirror, the subject changes. There are numerous suggestions, like the possibility of a linkage to a parallel universe or magical powers, but none of this can be confirmed. Those who face themselves in the mirror may appear the same, but in actuality, they have become completely different people. Looking into the mirror multiple times will gradually eat away one's humanity until they become indistinguishable from a hollow husk of a man. So caution is advised. Yo, Brian just walked past me without saying a word. What's up with him? Oh, he took a peek in the mirror. You know, he always complained about being born too weak. I guess he finally made up his mind about it, huh? Satisfaction is only temporary, though. Okay, interesting. This one is just weird. I don't know about lore. This thing's about the same as Flesh Idol, man. This thing's about the same as Flesh Idol for me. I'm keeping it an F for tools. Just kind of be doing things. Ah, now here's one where the lore alone I love. A bomb shelter that completely protects its interior from all hazardous influences from the outside world, including light. The shelter retains the memory of that day. Company P wished to construct the safest place on Earth. This is also lore, so we know that P Corp made this. As such, the interior of the shelter houses a large number of non-perishable goods, which would allow anyone who stayed inside to survive for an extremely long period of time. Thanks to the shelter, the selected refugees were safely shielded from the ocean of endless screams of bloodshed. However, the shelter, while perfectly safe on the inside, alters the reality of the outside to be even more hopeless. It literally makes itself the safest place on Earth. I like shelter a lot, because it is apparently something that was actually made. The tools themselves are not don't seem to be actually abnormalities, which is very weird. They seem to be just anomalous things from within the world. It's going up with the lore but nothing else, Abnos. We're putting it up here. Fairy Festival. An abnormality that is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. They act as a cluster. They use a language we cannot understand to communicate with each other. They follow a few employees around when they enter the containment unit, using their special abilities to help heal injuries. Employees call this act the fairy's care. The fairies protect our employees. If you often act out of the goodness of your heart, you are a lover of nature, then the fairies will gladly take care of you. Everything will be peaceful while you are under the fairies' care. You can also enjoy the envious glances that you'll get from the other employees. Not that that's important, but what if the fairies don't approach you? Then you should reflect on your life. When Emil and I took shifts entering the fairies' containment unit, the fairies did not hesitate to approach me. Only me, never towards Emil. You all know Emil and how he is. Why? Just yesterday he refused to share his snacks with me, and he was acting all high and mighty. It is a sacred act to be protected by fairies in any world. However, do not enter their containment unit just to have a bit of fun. If you've read a few books on them, you'll know fairies dislike those who take advantage of their kindness. The corresponding document is only accessible to employees level 4 and higher. When Walter, who was under the care of the fairies, died in the room of another abnormality, we noticed some anomalies. His stomach and face were ripped off, and his eyeballs and organs were damaged as if they were eaten by something. Moreover, the containment unit Walter was found in was for an abnormality that uses psychological attacks. Meanwhile, the fairies had someone's blood and flesh smeared all over their mouths. We did not bother to examine them to find it. We did not bother to examine them to find out whose flesh and blood that was. In our world, there are few outcomes that result from perfect kindness. Having fairies that live in a forest visit you just because they like you or that you've done many good deeds is only something that happens in fairy tales. Even though we know this truth, we still sometimes become deluded, thinking that the fairies' care is happening because of all the good deeds we've done, or that the fairies are favoring us because there is something that makes us more special than the other employees. The fairies are no more than carnivorous monsters, and their protection is their method to keep the meat fresh. When an employee enters another containment unit, they gobble them up in fear that they would lose their food to something else. However, the employees were greatly satisfied by the fairies' care, and we saw a drastic decrease in the accident rate, so we deemed it unnecessary to tell the truth to the employees. Interesting. The fairies are fine. The fairies are fine. They're interesting. I like their lore. They're just kind of there, though. That being the... Nah, typical B tier. This is typical B tier. I like their lore, but they're not, like, useful for anything. Yeah, lore's, yeah. No, you're right, now that I'm thinking about it. I still want to put them in B, though. We're putting them in low B. I don't care. Don't care! Meat Lantern O-04-84 Teth. It's always under the floor of the containment unit. It only shows its eyes and a mysterious luminous organ above the ground. There's no way to confirm what it looks like in its entirety. As it moves underground, not through the hallway, it is impossible to predict its path when breaching. For the same reason, its escape cannot be detected. Excerpt from voice records. Lloyd, you're located near the information team, right? I've heard that some employees went missing around that area. Would you mind checking to see if there's an abnormality causing spatial interference? Paul, what? There's no such abnormality around here. I don't detect any breaching abnormalities either. Lloyd, look everywhere. Paul, well, Lloyd, there's no sign of any abnormality, but I do see a small flower on the ground. Lloyd, what are you on about? What flower? Paul, the bud is glowing. It's amazing. It's strange finding something so green here when we don't even get sunlight. It's so bright. Other employees came over to look at the flower too. You need to come see it. The light is so bright and warm. I feel like something good is about to happen. Lloyd, that's not a flower. Order all the employees nearby to evacuate immediately. Do not run away in a group. You have to slowly escape one by one with quiet steps. Paul, what are you talking about? I thought I told you there's nothing nearby. Wait, I think I just felt a slight tremor beneath my feet. Is someone fixing the pipes today? Lloyd, just screw it. Just enjoy looking at that flower all you want. Oh, that's funny. It's kind of meh. I'm putting him in C. Where's Meat Lantern? Oh, there he is. He's gonna go next to the girl. There we go. We can change anything. After the popularity of the all-around helper skyrocketed, We Can Change Anything was released as the second installment of XX Corp's home robot series. As to be expected of all XX Inc.'s products, it It sports a variety of functions. Is your child a troublemaker who cries all the time? We can change that. Don't like how you look? Are you too fat, too skinny? We can change that. Is your house suffering from an outage because you don't have the money to pay the power bill? We can change that. It looks quite simple. Just open up the machine, step inside, and press the button to make it shut. Now everything will be just fine. The machine will produce energy after employee enters it. Seeing as once inside, nobody ever comes out, it must be rather comfortable. Its design is very human. I think this one is fine. It's actually interesting for a tool, and it technically has application. Like, I kind of like this one, I'm not gonna lie. But we're putting it at, like, bottom of D, because it does kill people. But it's moving above the tools. Congratulations. Actually, it's going above Grandma. I don't care. Grandma's annoying to work with. At least this one you don't have to work with. I'm putting it above things that are detrimental to work with. Grandma sucks because she's boring. Singing Machine gives decent ego, but it will kill people if you work with it. You know what? I'm putting you down. No, I'm moving you down. Okay, we've moved things around properly. I'm feeling better about it. Straight up hating on Grandma. I don't care. F you, Grandma. Fuck your Grandma. All right, Express Train to Hell. T-09-86. Wow. The booking clerk, who remains dauntingly quiet, sells tickets for a train with no final destination. There are no clocks to alert their arrival times. Instead, there are some blinking lights. The first and second lights illuminate. Your mind clears. The third light illuminates. Your mind clears and your wounds close. The fourth light illuminates. The condition of every employee in the department improves when you hear the train's horn off in the distance. When the time comes, the train will chug down the tracks and sound its mighty horn. There is no doubt that it will plunge through the endless tunnel while boarding the employees who have not taken a step back from the tracks. He's funny. He is a... This is a tool that functions more like an Abno. And simply because of that... The thing is that it doesn't give energy. That's the issue. I'm putting it next to the bunker. In B tier. Yeah. We're putting it there. There's a lot of eye abnos I'm noticing now that I'm seeing their portraits. One eye, one eye. Well, maybe not one eye. One eye. Two eye. One eye. One eye. Yeah, his eyes are low res. What's up with that? They couldn't... They just zoomed in on his face, bro. They couldn't get him special art. Facility-wide healing? I think he's just department-wide healing, isn't he? Oh, no, it's every employee in every department. I'm still putting him there. Sorry, train. Scarecrow searching for wisdom. F-01-87. An abnormality taking the form of straw scarecrow. The straw is stained with blood. The head is empty, as if someone forcefully tore it off. It shows aggression towards certain employees attempting to take their brains. These employees are those who scored excellent on the intelligence test. Each city needed to have its own unique technologies. That was the key to reinvigorating the city. There were numerous ones, but among them, one city saw advancements in technology for the replacement of body parts. N-Corp! It was possible to repair or augment body parts that were broken or malfunctioning, or simply undesirable. Every citizen was eligible for that treatment. However, rumors circulated. When a rich person looking to improve their eyesight approached a beggar with broken lungs struggling to breathe, they would transplant the beggar's eyes into the rich person. Then they would abandon the beggar's corpse somewhere along the outskirts, still with those rotting lungs. The city's representative assured them, dismissing the rumors as nonsense. To put the rumors to rest, they announced that they would select a number of sick people from the outskirts and fix any body parts they wanted. Out of the lucky few that were chosen, one returned several days later. He had a visibly long scar on his head. People asked him how he felt, and he responded that his head felt lighter. He was a man filled with sorrow, who used to cry a lot, so everyone believed that the surgery was a success. Oh my god, this is the Lobotomy Corp. However, when he was asked about the whereabouts of the others who went with him, he just smiled, without uttering a word. Before long, even at his parents' funeral, he showed no emotion. All he did after the treatment was stare out the window and talk to himself. Eventually, he hung himself on the doorknob of his house. Some people thought that the treatment caused his troubles, but after a few days, he was completely forgotten. The city still remained a beautiful place, where the emerald road sparkled bright as ever. Interesting. This one doesn't take the... I thought after the Woodsman that they would actually talk about Oz a little bit more. So why a scarecrow? Because in the story of The Wizard of Oz, the scarecrow wishes for a brain. And this Abno has to do with the mind, or replacing the mind. Yeah, it's one of the Oz-related Abnos. Yeah, it's a fairy tale Abno. I don't know, man. He's kind of interesting, but he's all right. He's a he class that I'm sure would be a lot worse to deal with earlier in the facility. That's the thing. I think the Dorothy Abno is Red Shoes, but Red Shoes isn't Fable-tied. And then there's no lion, which is weird. So there's only two of them, which is also very strange. Whatever. Anyway. Scarecrow, you are going... Where's the Scarecrow going? Scarecrow is going solidly in... bottom of C, right next to the Woodsman. Vorwolf is a lion stand-in? I mean, I don't know. Not really, but sort of. Can you bring up Wonder Lab? Sure. Since it's not really canon anymore, you for sure can. And I have not played Ruina yet. I'm playing Ruina next, after a short break. There was a cut content Abnos from LobCorp used in Wonder Lab. Oh, interesting. So did they use the... Wonder Lab is canon, it's just a standalone story? Oh. In Wonder Lab there is the Dorothian lion. Okay. So that's where they exist. Finally got Justicia's gift back on your Twilight Nugget. There you go. Oh, I forgot about you. Dimensional refraction variant. O-0388 WoW class. It was a strange phenomenon. It was a phenomenon in and of itself. There was nothing within the unit that could be detected with the naked eye. Just like those who had made similar claims some time ago, just because something cannot be seen does not mean it doesn't exist. The containment unit's square length was XXX meters, and this is the cognitive range of the abnormality. The only advice that can be given is to remain cautious and aware of your surroundings. Breathing will become impossible while within range of the abnormality. The area will become a vacuum. Strictly speaking, the abnormality itself is the vacuum phenomenon. Record of the death of employee Chomsky. There was no way to confirm if the abnormality had left its containment unit or not. All of a sudden, Chomsky had stopped in the middle of the corridor and just stood there. The hallway was busy at the time, and many a person passing by. And of course, many of these people expressed their discontent for having part of the hallway blocked. Then all of a sudden, Chomsky's body suddenly rose over 3 meters into the air. His arms and legs were awkwardly stretched out as if he were being crucified. If his legs had still been on the ground, he might have looked as if he were performing an elegant play or doing ballet. Everyone in the hallway stopped to look at him. Then Chomsky started to scream. He screamed like a madman who had witnessed something horrifying. Nobody knew what to do. Some of our employees attempted to pull Chomsky down by his legs. He didn't budge. After that, Chomsky stopped screaming. After a short silence followed, and Chomsky opened his mouth, attempting to mutter something. The 2 employees who were trying to pull Chomsky down started to scream. Blood poured down from his body. His arms and legs separated, leaving his limbless body floating in the air. All hell broke loose in the hallway, and everybody began running. How to recognize this abnormality is a matter that needs to be discussed further. Currently, we are researching ultraviolet technology that may be able to detect the abnormality using the eyes of shrimp. Shrimp mentioned. But the performance so far has been far from satisfactory. For now, a good method is to have employees entering its containment unit bring a glass cup filled only halfway with water. They will need to place this cup on the floor while working. If the cup begins to slosh, threatening to spill over, the employees must stop working and leave the unit immediately. That's interesting. Kind of a boring abno, though. And the fact that it just gives a tool is really dumb. I don't know. I'm smelling C tier. You don't get what it is. I don't get what it's supposed to represent either, like the fear of the unknown, or like what you can't see can hurt you. I don't know. It reminds me of the wall rider from Outlast. That's what I would believe inspired this, in my opinion. It represents bees. For the shrimp mention, we'll put it towards the top of C tier. Shrimp mentioned. Okay. You can tell we're getting late into the list when I'm rating things based on shrimp. Censored. O-03-89 Aleph. Any attempts to describe censored will cause severe mental corruption to both the speaker and the listener. Cognito hazard, okay. Therefore, it is forbidden to record any descriptions of the appearance of this censored. All audio and written records should be inspected to ensure that such descriptions are deleted from them. All work pertaining to this deletion must be designated to level 5 or higher employees. Excerpt from audio record. Randy, it's a shame we have to send such a capable employee like you to its containment unit. Do you have any last words before proceeding? Of course, when I say last words, it's just a precautionary thing. Censored. It can't be helped. I'm the employee with the highest resistance against cognitive breakdown. I've been apathetic towards everything since I was a kid. People often say I lacked empathy and wasn't normal. However, when I got to work here, my ability became a key to save everyone. This is something that can never be experienced anywhere else. Randy. Let me say this again. While it is true that you have the highest resistance among employees, it's only based on human standards. If you begin to suffer a surge of intrusive thoughts, or you decide to count down from 10 but fail to remember what 10 even is, or feel an uncontrollable regurgitation of vomit or saliva, or if this place starts to feel like somewhere else other than the company, or if you suddenly feel insignificant and think that suffocating is your only hope, you need to leave the containment unit immediately. Censored. If you tell me that one more time, that'll make 13 times you've said that now. Randy. We cannot monitor you in real time. All cameras are off and your audio record will only be updated after the work is finished. Needless to say, I'm worried about you. Why don't you repeat the instructions I gave you a bit ago? Go in, do the work myself, accompany employee censored, and observe the work process. And record everything that happens, even if censored is in danger. Do not attempt to rescue unless ordered to otherwise, right? Randy, exactly. Now, our contact will be cut off in 10 seconds. Good luck and Godspeed to your record. Censored. I have no regrets. I'd say that I'm pretty lucky compared to the others, but at least I get to leave my last voice record. Well, I say last only as a precaution, but Randy. All right. Your record will be eternally archived as our fellow employees will remember you. 3, 2, 1, end audio receiving. Censored. Randy, that looks just like our censored from long ago, doesn't it? Oh, I forgot for a moment that only I could see this. Employee censored, who came with me became censored. It looks like it can even breed. Employee censored, who was with me became censored. This is just like the process of censored. I feel a little sick, but I'm good. A small censored came out of employee censored. I can't believe this. It's starting to censored. Employee censored. Employee censored is screaming like censored. The cries. Can you hear them? It reminds me of censored. Sound. Censored. Now I see. This is our censored. This is the reason censored exists. This is the worst thing I've seen in my life. I can't even move. It's like censored has made me its next target. Soon I will censored. 2. It's getting closer. I'll put the recorder in my censored. I hope this record will help everyone. Audio cuts off. Even after we adopted the cognition filter, many of our managers have lost their minds. Half of them gone because of censored. Even if we raise the cognition filter to its maximum setting, at the risk of having our employees and other abnormalities be perceived as extremely simple objects, the managers will still be driven insane as soon as this abnormality comes into sight. We can't make our manager blind just because of one abnormality. We're stuck in a dilemma. The only option we could come up with is the suggestion of one of our employees. It was to cover the abnormality with a giant set of sensors and blurring. If a flaw in the system disables the sensors from covering the abnormality, we will once again have to sincerely consider how to dispose of the manager. Freaky. That's a pretty good log. That's one thing I love with SCP, is when people decide to write cognito hazards. Because it's a very tough thing to write about, because you're writing about something that can't be perceived by the human mind, or shouldn't be perceived by the human mind. I love cognito hazards. I love cognito hazards. I wonder how freaky you could make this log if you play Mad Libs with the sensors. Even I was getting some nasty ideas of this, and probably intended. I like censored. I think it's an interesting abno. And the fact it's an interesting way to use it. I'm gonna put it in S. I'm gonna put it actually up in S. Put it up here. Okay. Skin Prophecy. An ancient-looking religious book that rests atop a skinny lectern. Its numerous pages are written on an old parchment. Its believed prayer. Whoa, why can't I read? Its believers prayed that its sanctity would last forever by binding the tome in human skin. So Necronomicon, basically. Those who open the book will be enlightened to unimaginable truths. The ones who have mastered the truths will be called by the prophets. This call cannot be denied. Save us now and forevermore. The truth shall set us free. Yeah. At least it's not some of the other tool abnos. It's interesting, I'll give it that. It's not just a stat buff. It's not just a stat buff, and it's not just a you heal people. So I'm putting it here. Okay. Portrait of another world. As time passes, people change. We may become disabled, lose our minds, be consumed by overwhelming violence, or be willed to disappear, never seen again. This portrait encaptures a moment. It is what we are destined to lose. Those who see their healthy self will subconsciously begin craving. If life could always be like that. If I could always have a bright smile, just like in that portrait. One will begin to feel strange. One will be unharmed by any shape or form of attacks. However, others will bear the pain instead. Little by little, the portrait turned uglier and uglier. Eventually, one will stop viewing the portrait and simply enjoy their unexpected luck. However, no miracle lasts forever. When all those who bear one's pain perish, it is their turn to die. Once the person who thought themselves to be the luckiest person in the world meets their demise, the portrait turns blank once again. See, this should be the standard for tool abnos. This should be the standard for tool abno lore. This is good. That's good lore. We don't have Portrait of a Certain Day. They didn't even put it in here. They forgot it. This will be Portrait of a Certain Day, because it's not an abno that I'm aware of. Simply because of its lore, and because it has, like, I don't know, a kind of cool gimmick that I guess you could work around. I'm actually putting it in C. We're putting this one in C. I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting it in C. Congratulations. You've made it out. By having the bare minimum. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting close. Today's shy look. It's a good day. Are you still shy today? One sunny day when they were sincerely drying the laundry in the yard, sadness struck suddenly. In our city, sacrifices for corporates must be highly praised. Honor for their deaths. No reason for you to cry either. Rather, you should be glad. What's with that look on your face? That kind of facial expression isn't recommended in our city. Goodness, why are you making such a face? You're making other people feel gloomy too. Please be more considerate. You don't live in this world alone after all. You are very poor at expressing your emotions. You must be quite shy. Hey, try to look a little more pleased. That way, those living in the outskirts will be more envious of us. Put a bigger smile on your face. It's not that hard. Next time, try to express yourself more clearly. It's very important to express oneself in this society. One sunny day, just like that day they sincerely dried the laundry, they dried their own skin. Everyone was finally satisfied. They showed the bright smile. If they met people who asked what was wrong, they would simply respond, just shy. That's all, just shy. If one tries to look at the face behind the skin, the result will not be pretty. The space between their skin is the only personal space they have left. Leaving it uninvaded is the last bit of generosity the city can offer. That's interesting. I like this one's lore. Representing like the idea of insecurity, controlling one's emotions, that sort of thing. I'm putting it in B. I'm actually putting it on top of B. It's got good lore and it's like an alright Abno. We're putting it right there. There you go, buddy. Congratulations. Blue Star. O-03-93 Aleph. An urgent announcement to all personnel in our company. Lobotomy Corporation supports all club activity that promotes positivity. Recently, however, we have received reports that there are group activities plotting unhealthy schemes. Due to constant allegations, we cannot help but take notice of the matter. It is against the company's rules to idolize and or worship certain abnormalities. Nothing is allowed to be sacred in this place. Employees that try to enter the containment units of specific abnormalities without authorization will face punishment, especially if they are not in charge of said abnormalities. If you feel an impulse to throw yourself into a certain abnormality, that means you are infected. It means that in the process of manipulating and dazzling your brain, as do other abnormalities in this place. If this happens, please stop whatever you are doing and seek immediate mental treatment. As you have passed all basic employee training, we hope no one would be foolish enough to be misled. We are releasing the blacklist to the public. Those who are on this list must take 3 days of mental treatment provided by the company and will receive punishment accordingly by their respective Sephirah. We are making this list public to bring your attention to the astonishing number of infected employees around you. Please note, calling Emily, who killed herself after breaking into the containment unit of a certain abnormality, a martyr will be treated as non-compliance with the company's rules. On a side note, we would like to praise employee Dylan's courageousness in rescuing of employee Sophie, who was about to throw herself into a certain abnormality. If any of you see our valuable colleagues displaying this kind of behavior, please report it promptly to the Sephirah in charge. Dylan. I don't believe you turned Sophie and us over deliberately. I'm sure you were just worried about Sophie. She's locked up now. I heard that she's repeatedly tried to escape, so they tied her to the bed. Tell me, is it so wrong to have faith? We are all sinners, and our blue star is the only sanctuary that accepts us. We'll be cleansed of our sins there. We will all go back to that place someday. It is an instinct. You thought Emily died when she threw herself into the star, but she simply returned to her rightful place. She's a martyr. She's become an eternal star. The rise of a star is a brand new beginning. Don't you hear the everlasting sound of the trumpet? When you stand close to the star, you can hear the welcoming cheers and singing. If every employee returns to that place, only Blue Star will remain here. Let us meet again as stars. That is a really interesting Abno. I like it. It also is really pretty. I like Blue Star quite a bit. But where to put it? Yeah, there we go. It's interesting. I didn't know they would have like a... It's interesting to have that lore around it. They don't even describe the Abno itself, which is unique. You must be happy. A mysterious worn-out machine used for operations. This machine was designed to pull back the skull and destroy nerve tissues safely and efficiently. Many of those who underwent the operation inside the machine have found themselves rested and healthy again. Those who answered yes to the question, do you love your city, were deemed cured. Those who answered no weren't allowed to discharge. The longer the machine is in use, the better a person becomes. Furthermore, the longer it is used, the faster the question will change. This one's interesting, but it's still a tool in the end. Interesting, but still a tool, and not really useful. But for being interesting, it's both interesting. Yeah, I put interesting above useful. Alright, that's good. Luminous bracelet. Bracelet that gives off a soft turquoise light. Many unexplainable things have been discovered in the outskirts. When it is worn, all wounds are healed without a trace of scarring. However, to wear this bracelet, even when one has not a scratch left on their body, is an act of greed. This bracelet shall not forgive those who hold greed in their hearts, thus it must only be worn by those in true need. Yeah, this one's kind of boring. I'll just crank through a couple of them. Behavior adjustment. Electronic device with a mysterious symbol engraved into it. It readjusts everyone to become righteous no matter how wicked, evil, or arrogant they may be. However, its users may become too dependent on the device and lose all ability to think on their own. Eventually, intellect loses all meaning and they forget how to even exist. Yeah, this one's greatly increases justice and decreases prudence. Yeah, these two kind of are going to go right next to each other. Oh, I just hit the end of Echo playlist again. We're doing this again, I don't care. Okay. Oh, they're already up here. Yeah, they're in a decent spot. I mean, I already know where I'm putting the ballerina. But yeah, like, give us a story or something. Come on, man. Old faith and promise. A mysterious marble which hangs in the containment unit. We know of an ancient practice, the countless promises that were made, and the unyielding faith placed in them. However, all that they yielded was only hollowness and betrayal. Those betrayed hearts sank into the depths, slowly forgotten in the ever-lengthening corridors of time. If you make an attempt with an astute heart devoid of desire or expectation, however, you may receive an unexpected award. Just because gambling, that's why I put it at the top. I love gambling. Porcubus. O-02-98. Time for head to burst. To be frank, life in this place isn't so great. The company says they provide healthy hobbies, but not many engage in that notion. Everyone looks for their own escape, be it violence, gambling, gluttony. I thought I had strength and self-control and discipline compared to others. It did help me live a smoother life, maybe. That's the reason I was assigned to Porcubus Containment Unit. Yes, Porcubus, where the lowest of the low employees visit. I've heard a bit about what other employees do in that containment unit. They call it the Game of Trust. A game of trust, what an elegant thing to name it, omitted. According to other employees, it wouldn't be too difficult to become intimate with it. Once I get along with it, I could acquire all of it with ease. They said when the time comes, Porcubus will lean down so that I easily reach the thorns. It didn't take long until I got to where I could pet it. Omitted. When I first touched its thorns, it felt quite prickly. It felt like a giant needle penetrated my skin. There wasn't any bleeding, and the pain went away after a moment. Then there it was, the most intense happiness you'd ever experience. It'd make your knees weak. When I snapped out of it, I found myself drooling. It scared me, so I didn't go back for a while. Then the situation gets worse. You'll get withdrawal symptoms like retching or sweating. Different employees show different symptoms. One employee even pulled out all their teeth because they felt like bugs were crawling all over them. How it felt? Can't find the words to describe it. Remember, the greatest happiness you've ever felt in your life, this feeling would be 100 times better. You say I'm the last employee in charge of Porcubus? That's understandable. As the brain craves more intense stimulation. At first, all I had to do was be lightly pricked by one of the thorns. Now I have to rub my whole body against it to get the same high. I feel like all the blood in my body will rush to my head, eventually bursting it. I've already imagined my head bursting thousands of times anyhow. I have to get going. It's almost time for work. Actually, I'm drenched in sweat right now. Did you notice? Oh, and Porcubus doesn't show any aggression, unlike your speculation. It doesn't eat us or bite our heads off or anything. All the corpses were smiling. Happily? That's all. It just makes people smile until death. No one is to blame. We have to go through this hell every day. We're just having a small taste of heaven. You know what? I feel sorry for you. You've never felt these feelings, and you never will. But you have to interview an employee on the edge like me while pretending to be decent. Now it's time for my head to burst. Good day. Can you fart so hard your balls explode? Porcubus is good. I like this one. I am putting him... I'm actually putting him at the top of B. Can we put him at the top of B? There we go. Top of B. Annoying if he breaches. Fine to work with. Interesting lore. Did I beat the game? Yes, I did, Felipe. I did beat the game. I have won. I have 100%ed Lobotomy Corporation. Vanilla. We are the champions. My Kiwis. Void Dream. T-0299. Teth. I wish to sleep eternally, so don't bother trying to wake me up again. An abnormality whose form sports a goat's fur and horns. It is not unique in regards to its appearance, with the exception of several colorful eyes embedded upon its body. Gaining information about this abnormality is expected to be difficult due to its ceaseless slumber. The following counseling log illustrates how Void Dream ability to make any person slumber psychologically affects the employees. The results indicate we cannot utilize this ability to reduce the mental corruption of our staff. Please refer to this this record for further research. Vincent, please make it quick. I gotta sleep. Counselor, is it because of the abnormality? Yeah, I remember seeing something that looked like a sheep pass by me, and well, I fell asleep. Since then, I've been like this. Do you remember the dream you had back when that occurred? Oh, I could never forget that dream. Could you please tell me as much as you can about it? It was a happy, wonderful, sweet dream. All of the words I need to describe it. Heck, I even felt so glad to be working for this company. And I saw a guy who's not with me anymore. He was right next to me. Omitted. Because of that, I couldn't get a hold of myself when I woke up. I see. I've heard a little about you from the other employees recently. All of them say that the only thing you do outside of work hours is sleep. Could you please tell me why? Don't you understand what I'm talking about? I just want to have that dream again. The dream where I was there with him, recalling those happy moments, but I couldn't go back no matter how many times I slept. I slept, and 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 yet... I see. I'd advise you take some rest in your room. They said everyone who woke up after hearing that abnormality sound went mad. People think it's because they all had a horrible nightmare they couldn't handle, but it's actually the other way around. The reality they had to wake up to was so terrible that the soul gave up on waking life. As you know, time flows differently in dreams. A mere instant of waking life constitutes an eternity in the dream world. Maybe if Void Dream were to put me to sleep once again, then maybe I just have that wonderful dream anew. I'll prescribe you some sleep medicine. I assure you that'll help you sleep. Please get some rest for now. Finally, you will be prohibited from entering the Abnormalities Containment Unit from now on. A demon must change its shape to deceive others. A demon must grant sweet dreams to deceive others. A crack appears in the human mind when it is shown a dream it yearns for. A demon will never miss this chance to bring one to their doom. Don't say such complicated things. Don't say those scary words. I just want to grant people sweet dreams. Grant them enrapturing dreams they want. Those who've had my dreams are destined to come back to me. So just close your eyes. In the dream, your smile was beaming, and we chatted with such liveliness. When I came back to waking life, I realized I was back in a world in which you no longer existed. I felt a void as big as that, fleeting happiness. I felt my dream fill my heart. I closed my eyes and forced myself to sleep, but morning was still to come no matter what. I think that's when my soul started to crumble. In fact, I was already broken since the day I parted with you, but I've only been acting fine. My soul was already shattering itself into fragments after the passing of that day. Once I saw you again, my yearning for you began to bear down too heavily. I couldn't ever go back to my old self again. Counseling, rest, all of it was useless. I spent days by myself, agonizing until I finally realized it. It lured me with unforgettable bait. That was the price for eating away my nightmares. And then it left me with nothing but void, so that I would have no choice but to return to it. And then I've lost to it. I don't want to know anything anymore. Please, eat my dreams. Interesting. This one's lore redeems it a lot. This one's lore redeems it a lot. Yeah, it does make Teth Abnos feel legitimately threatening. And meanwhile, they couldn't even make Silent Orchestra seem threatening, yet it's an Aleph. I'm putting it up here in B. Grave of the Cherry Blossoms. The tree that stands in the middle of the containment unit. It never withers, even if it's not given any form of nutrition. Some employees take the time to rest near this tree. Employees sometimes enter its containment unit for leisure. Pansy. Hey Xavier, did you see that new abnormality? I think you got put in charge of it. Xavier. Yeah, I saw it all right. Just some tree with buds along its branches. I don't think they'll be able to come to blossom without sunlight. Did you start making observations and writing reports yet? No, I think I'll get to it soon enough though. Alright, take care. Hey, long time no see. How's it going lately? Yo, get this. You know that abnormality we talked about before? I don't think it's hostile, and guess what? It started blooming. It was so surreal looking at them. It felt like spring had come for the first time in this place. Is that okay? Usually any sort of change is a bad omen for something catastrophic here. Don't worry, it's just some harmless little flowers. Thanks for worrying about me, though. Bonjour again. How has work been going for you? Golly, the flowers just keep blooming. I think it'll fill up the whole unit at this rate. You should see it for yourself. It's really beautiful. I don't think I'll ever get sick of looking at it. I'd love to, man, but I can't. I've been so busy lately. Really? Damn, what a shame. It's absolutely magnificent, I'm telling you. You're doing alright, by the way. You've been making a lot of mistakes these days. It seems like you've been spacing out a ton, too. Don't worry, it's nothing. I gotta head back now. Oh, I've been making a sketch of this tree, actually. I'll let you be the first person to see it when I'm done. Audio recording of counseling session. Yeah, I've been better recently. I got better at managing abnormalities, too. Going to the grave of Cherry Blossom's chamber makes me feel weirdly amazing. Like you said, I never believed that mumbo-jumbo about flooring giving out good aura or whatever, but I guess it's true. It's such a shame I can't see those cherry blossoms with the Savior. I got to see his work in the progress sketch when I was rummaging through his stuff one time. The actual tree is much more beautiful. It was more magnificent than anything he'd describe it as. It's such a tragedy that he went missing before seeing how it is now. If you find any abnormalities suspicious, please make sure you look into them, alright? Yep, I'm fine now. I shook off that feeling. The cherry blossoms fell after I saw it that time. Yet, I saw buds poking out of the branches again. Would it be alright if I oversaw the abnormality from now on? No, it's no big deal. I just want to see those flowers in full bloom again. Yes, thank you. Notice of advice. We've noticed reports about an alarming increase in the number of employees who went to view the grave of cherry blossoms containment. This fervent rush of requests is likely due to the absence of natural scenery in our facility. However, I don't think there is any need to make a rule against it. We found our staff's mental contamination in indices decrease when looking at the grave of cherry blossoms. The reason behind this is unimportant. It could be flora giving out good aura, for all anyone cares. The only thing that's certain is that the grave of cherry blossoms captivates our employees, and they don't know what lies beneath its roots. Did you realize that cherry blossoms are strikingly crimson? That the cherry blossoms are strikingly crimson, and its unmatched beauty is caused by its color? The more blood it has, the more beautiful it is. Our employees who are oblivious to it are drawn to it again and again. Just keep everything hush-hush for now. Let's see how things work here. But it's how things work in this place. Yeah, I guess I'm caffeinated, but yeah, this little hee-hee-ha-ha flower. It's kind of interesting. I don't... What did that tree do? Kill me? Said man killed by tree. We're gonna put this one in... I'm putting it in... we're putting it in low B. I'm doing low B. The Firebird. A long time ago, in a faraway forest, there lived a magnificent bird. Its feathers were wonderful incandescent like the tongues of flame, and it was said that they could swallow the blackest of darkness. Many hunters longed to obtain one of its feathers, as It would be their pride and honor. There were many tales about the bird. Some said that those who caught the bird would see their families prosper for many generations. A few even claimed that one wasn't a true hunter until they had gotten one of the flame-like feathers. Others believed that the feather was so strong that it could take the owner anywhere they dreamed of. Be what it may, the bird was a symbol of adventure to people. The faraway forest was soon filled with people looking for the bird. Not only hunters, but travelers and adventurers too. Only the once silent forest became a crowded place. People soon became bored with the rumors. They were no longer interested in the hunt. Fewer and fewer people paid any sort of visit to the faraway forest. When the bird finally became nothing but legend, it experienced a great pain, being blinded. Now all that was left of this legend was a blind bird with bright feathers, alone in an abandoned forest. After a long time had passed, the bird found a new forest. Many people lived in that forest, and the bird just wanted their eagerness to pursue it once again. Be stoked by the fiery hues of its blazing feathers. Those who succeeded in the hunt are granted with one of the feathers that countless hunters once yearned for. Caution is advised when hunting season for the firebird finally arrives. Rash action, such as suppressing it, is not recommended. It is also not recommended to simply hunt the bird to prove one's bravery. Please remember all the hunters who had to return empty-handed. If I catch it, just a little bit more and I'll get it. Every employee has thought like this. However, it takes true courage to accept when to give up. It's cool that you have to suppress it in order to get the ego gift. I'm middling on this one. I'll put it low A. Yeah, low A. That's what I'm feeling. Yin. Oh man, we're in for another big one. Why is it saving all of the long ones for this time? The black pennant is darker than any other shade of black. The most obscure of all the forms of darkness in this world. Employees should not touch or possess the pennant. Merely looking at it makes one feel as if darkness is creeping into their heart. It seems that this pennant originally made up a circle, however, it is now separated from its other half. Most employees call it the Devil's Pennant. Some just say that looking at it will fill up your mind with negativity. Employees dislike being anywhere near the thing. After all, it was the polar opposite of its other half. Many would let out similar complaints that all ended with the same remark. We wish it was only the white one. Its surroundings erode, those who come near it suffer. This wasn't the result of the pennant's own volition. Those things only occurred because of the aura it exudes. Then it must wonder, do I exist? If my very existence corrodes my surroundings and brings suffering and darkness to whoever interacts with me, maybe I shouldn't have been born at all, just as they say. Maybe my creator only wanted to make the white pennant and I'm just an unintentional accident. If so, how can such an impure being disappear from this world? One day, the black pennant heard a call. Now the day has come. It is time for us to reunite. The black pennant left the place it thought it would never leave. It found itself swimming away. Everything it passed turned to ruin. Destruction was but an instant. It wasn't something that could be stopped, nor could it be hidden. It could see the white pennant. No, it could see the part of itself that it hadn't seen for a long time. The two opposites were swimming towards each other. For the first time ever, the black pennant felt meaning to its existence. We used to be one. I am, and thus you are. You are, and thus I am. We were originally together. It was a fruitless deed to divide us. Now you shall become the sky and I the land. An employee who had a face colored with cheerful eyes began to grimace at the sudden burst of sadness. An employee who was quietly crying from having their heart broken dried their tears. An employee who was dragging along their broken legs stood up straight as if they always could. An employee who was on their way to the lounge suddenly fainted, bleeding from every place imaginable. As the end circles back to the beginning, those who held hope are met with despair, and those who held despair are met with hope. At the end of the beginning, the dragon, which now became a great avatar, soared through the sky. This is gonna be this is gonna be Hong Lu's ego. I guarantee it. They previewed the Hong Lu ego. They previewed the Hong Lu event ego for Kanto 8. It's looking like this, like his ego is gonna be yin yang, which means that's what the next railway boss is gonna be. So that'll be really interesting. That should be a fun railway boss. The next ego is a Monty Python joke. Is that what Rodian's ego is? I just think it's funny because Goose. I like this one. I like its lore. It sucks to deal with. I'm gonna put it at bottom of A. And then Yang, half the pair that is missing each other. Oh, if they have the same weight as a duck, then they're witches. Oh, that's funny. Half of a pair that is missing the other. It does kind of look like Danganronpa, I noticed that. It reduces the mental damage of the wearer that the wearer has to bear. Because of this, it is called the Angel's Pendant. Those who come near it yearned for its energy. They say it cleared their minds and gave warmth to their hearts. However, they feared the Black Pendant. I sure wish every abnormality was helpful like this one, they would say, sighing. Yet it didn't understand. It never intended to help others. It was simply what it did. However, the world was more than simply warmth and light. The sky exists, for so does the land. Darkness exists, for so does the light. Life exists, for so does death. Hope exists, for so does despair. The black carp swims towards harmony. The white carp swims towards chaos. What will happen when the two fish meet? It's interesting, but it's also still a tool. Sorry! It's going at top of the tools, though. It's the king of the tools. Because at least it has something that can interact with outside. Ah, backwards clock. An old clock manufactured by an unknown company. Its vacuum tubes give off a vintage vibe. The manufacturer stopped making these clocks a long time ago. Is your future totally grim? If you hit rock bottom, not a single way out in sight, have you thought, oh man, if I wish I'd done this instead of that. Humanity has conquered disease and nature. Now we've come far enough to harness time itself. Yes, we can rewind your wasted time. Just wind it up, close your eyes, and count to 10. Then when you open them, you will be standing at the exact moment you wish to be in. Please read the manual thoroughly. You will never know what the extremely high voltage discharge from the machinery could do if it is handled poorly. We are not responsible for any accidents that may occur from user error and carelessness. The clock requires a high amount of energy to operate. Please understand that it will take a considerable amount of time to charge. I like backwards clock. C tier. This thing's a godsend. This thing cannot go below these things. It's going in A. Don't care. It's got bland lore, but God, it's so helpful. It's so helpful. I can't help it, man. I love it. It's so helpful. Yeah, it turned into the steam carrying machine. All right. Number 2, Piano della Luna. An old woman with a piano at her side. Her eyes are usually closed. She only nods instead of speaking, but on rare occasions she will faintly smile. Excerpt from a newspaper article. The world's greatest pianist, redacted, always gave her best performances when playing that sonata, her favorite piece. Many praised her excellent skill. Some couldn't even stay seated while she played the third movement because of the overflowing energy and madness that would come of her performance. In her now empty residence, from which she left for the moon, lies the piano she played since childhood and shrunken heads which allow us to delve into her mind. Excerpt from the audio record of employee Redacted's counseling. I mean, we didn't see anything outstanding when we went to secure it. There was just some old lady sitting there. It was like she had been waiting for us to come. What happened when one of us approached her? Well, that guy didn't know the first thing about art or music, but before we knew it, he was playing the first movement of that sonata, and the lady smiled. To be honest, I don't think I'll ever get to hear a piano performance as beautiful as what I heard then ever again. We never got to see that guy again. That's why you need my testimony, right? Because I played the third movement. Omitted. I don't know how or why it makes you play. Your hands just move and you feel euphoric while playing it. Everything around you fades away. It's just you and the piano. After I finished playing, exhausted, I realized what my feet had been pressing down on weren't pedals, but severed heads. The moon represents the human psyche. They often say the moon is beautiful, but when enough time has passed, when you look at it and see what kind of face it truly wears, you realize you were madly in love with something so broken and shattered. In the end, we all become like the moon, all because we can't bear ourselves. This is a really interesting Abno. I don't feel particularly strongly about it. Yeah, lore's pretty simple, but it's nice. This is going to be a solid C, I think. Like, middle of the pack. Yeah, it is funny when it breaches because it's just aggressive piano music. Nah, we're putting it in B. We'll put it next to its musical partner. Okay. Army in Black. Oh man. Oh man. Oh god. Okay. It sounds like a Toho song. It's pretty funny. Oh, okay. Yeah, I need a stretch. Thank you, Average. Wow. Okay. This abnormality takes the form of a humanoid creatures in pink equipment. Its intellectual capacity is high enough that it can verbally converse with human beings. At the very least, it seems friendly during observation and work. It has identified itself as a special force from blank, and uses the pronoun we when referring to itself. It has continuously shown positive interactions to help humanity. Audio record from first contact with the abnormality. Omitted. Serena. Well, I feel threatened because you're armed. That bright pink outfit's disturbing as well. It doesn't belong in a place like this. What's your opinion on the nature of humans, Miss Serena? Well, I think it depends on a person's experience. Why do you ask? It is a highly debatable topic, but this is what we think we should do. If a person's good from the start, we protect their good heart. If a person's bad from the start, we will make a good heart out of them and protect that heart. How are you going to do that? We can see the color of humanity's hearts. The color of human hearts is pink, and by wearing the same color, we can blend in with people's minds. We will gladly get dirty for the sake of the good-hearted. Wait, you'll get dirty instead of the people? Is that actually a thing that's possible? Indeed it is. I'm sorry, but I just can't trust what you... I just can't trust you or what you say. It's rather suspicious that you can just see the color of someone's heart. If anything happens, just call us, ma'am. End of recording. Following what was stated in that recording, the abnormality will come to help others. The abnormality's will to help others is solid. We have yet to grasp detailed information around this abnormality. Perhaps asking it for help could aid in learning more. However, just like any other abnormality, we shouldn't blindly trust it. I plan to have a suppression team ready while I pretend to ask it for help. So, a lot's happened up to now. To summarize the whole thing, this abnormality is the best thing we've ever had here. A few months ago, I took a chance asking this abnormality for help, and ever since, I've been using it. I've gotten help from it about redacted times now. My efficiency at work has gotten so much better too. At this point, just looking at something pink makes me feel better. Those creatures bolster me in a way that even the greatest leaders can't match. This abnormality will greatly improve our employees' quality of life. Excerpt from an audio record. Serena. You can do it again today, right? Yes, the human heart is pink, and we wear the same color. We will drive away bad thoughts. You hear that? Yeah, it's still in the best condition. We can put this abnormality to good use again in our next suppression. They're so much better than human soldiers. Perhaps we should positively consider putting them as our special suppression team. On a side note, they seem to have gotten a bit darker in color, but I don't think it's anything to lose sleep over. The human heart, we must clean. Even the smallest speck of evil must be cleaned. It seems a bit less energetic than usual, though it'll be fine, I think. End of recording. Urgent report to the incident relating to Army in Pink. We've filed this urgent report due to the drastic change in Army in Pink. We're still trying to grasp exactly what happened. A total of redacted employees have passed away. The following audio is a recording of the assumed first casualty, employee Serena. Serena. An abnormality is broken out again in the redacted section. I'd like to ask if you could help us out again. Yes. We, the Army in Black, blend into the human heart and drive away good thoughts. Hold on. What's that? That's not your line. The human heart is black. We must regularly clean. What are you talking about? You're creeping me out, man. We'll protect you with our black love. Stop. I'll call the suppression team. If you move an inch, I swear. We salute you, ma'am. The recording abruptly ends after the sound of a huge explosion. Horror movie tier stupidity. Yeah. Ah, man. The Abno got used too much. It was originally the Army in Pink and became the Army in Black. It's mildly interesting. It's annoying because it broke out a lot, so I'm not going to put it any higher than the bottom of B. But we'll keep it there. Bottom of B it is. Congratulations. PPO Day. This abnormality was created with ideas created. Okay, well, I don't need to. Super fluffy, ultra cute puppy with white fur that like fresh snow. This abnormality is so cute that just taking a short little glance at it will make you feel so much better. It has the eyes of an angel and is the purest thing in the world. Further descriptions of this creature have been omitted for brevity's sake. The rest of the sentences are essentially just saying it's cute in various ways. This abnormality couldn't be evil at all. The only thing you have to worry about is your heart aching if you look at it too long because it's just so cute. In fact, employees who enter this abnormality's containment unit tend to lose themselves a bit and often need to forcibly be removed from the unit by other employees. Caution needs to be taken, as assisting employees can become captivated by its cuteness and become lost as well. Attempts to bring this abnormality out of its containment unit may occur from time to time, but it is not a concern, as they are typically prevented by other employees. When too many employees want to work with this abnormality, a lottery will be held to decide who gets the privilege of doing so. Our employees tend to show symptoms of mental regression, such as oddly toned speech with a high pitch upon entering its containment unit. But this seems this is only a temporary problem. They're literally dog speak. It makes them do dog speak. Who's a good boy? Many of our employees refer to this abnormality as the goodest boy in the world, Pippo Day. However, its official designation of simply Pippo Day. Please make sure you don't get confused. Every employee who enters this containment unit must upload a video or photo report to this abnormality. This is highly, extremely, uber important. Please make sure that nobody misses this step. You have to post dog pictures. Oh god, okay. A company of this size will always have a rumor or two floating around. I heard that you can hear someone's bones breaking if you walk the hallways at night. If you try to track down that sound, you'll find a Yeti who's eating one of our employees. However, we don't have an abnormality that looks anything like a Yeti. Excerpt of an audio record. John. You should be thankful, dude. You've got a lucky chance to work with the goodest boy in the world, Pippo Day. It's bapping me with his paws. Is this an attack? He just wants you to feed him. Don't you know it's a trend for our company to always carry a packet of dog food or two? Well, I don't really like animals. By the way, this little puppy's pretty beefy. Is that how dogs usually are? I guess this one's played a lot of catch, huh? We used to play fetch with him pretty often just to watch how cute he was running after the ball, though we stopped for some reason. Hey, did you see its face when I fed it? It was super creepy, I swear. It's just your imagination, man. He's always been our little angel. Isn't that right? Who's a good boy? Jeez, does this thing have some kind of power to mentally manipulate people? No idea what you're on about, Jacob. Do you, little buddy? What a cutie pie. Do you? Did you wait for me, Peepo boy? Hey, it's eating something. Aren't we supposed to be the first people in this unit today? My widow goody good boy is just hungry. Man, he's just so cute. Look at how he's nomming on that. What the hell is he chewing on? Shit, I knew it. That's James' finger, man. He went missing in the last patrol shift. Can you see the nail? Remembering him bragging about having a nail heart painted on his nails? I told you, dude, this thing's up to no good. I can't believe it. Who? This abnormality is the killer. I get that you're shocked, but I told you a bunch of times there's no way a cute pet could be harmless in this place. Man, I'm glad you finally come to your sense. Who wouldn't feed him on time? Poor guy's been starving all night. It's so heartbreaking. Well, I think we're supposed to suppress it? How could you even suggest something so heartless for a cute little good boy like this? Just look at his eyes. How could an innocent animal do anything wrong? Isn't that why you go, little cutie boy? The abnormality shows no reaction, only the sound of bone being gnawed on is audible. Jacob, dude, your little angel is gnawing on our colleague's finger. What are you, a newbie? Don't you know everything is cute? Everything cute is forgiven here? I've never heard that, and I seriously don't think it's true. We've got to tranquilize it, and if you don't, then I'll do it myself. Sound of a tranquilizer dart firing can be heard. No! Abnormality begins to whimper. The recording cuts off after a bit of shouting. Following the evidence I've provided in the recording, I request that Jacob be immediately demoted for firing such a thing at pt.2. A terrible, evil animal abuser has no place working at our company. Our goodest boy in the world, pt.2, has been traumatized by this incident. He'll only eat 5 kilograms of his favorite snack now. To help him cope with the trauma, I suggest we request a new snack for pt.2. Premium grade salmon rich with vitamin B. I'll be waiting for your reply. Your request has been accepted. P.S. In your next message, please make sure you have attached 5 different photos of the goodest boy in the world, pt.2. Thank you in advance. You're right, guy. He's such a good little boy. He's such a good little boy. We have to put him at the top of S tier. He's the goodest boy in the world. We have to. He's such a goodest boy. Okay, parasite tree. An abnormality taking the form of a tree with plentiful leaves. The leaves are lush with rich green color, creating a comfortable ambiance. A refreshing flowery scent is carried by the gentle breeze. Employees who made contact with the abnormality stated that it provided them a significant psychological comfort. Such statements were deemed truthful as the employees displayed, a visible increase in work efficiency along with a notable decrease in mental corruption. An excerpt from an employee's diary. Wow, you can hear my brain melting. At first I thought it was just my imagination from being sleep deprived, but as my body and mind got more and more exhausted, the voice calling me got clearer and clearer. I can help you with your problem. Yeah, that's right, you can help me. What was I worrying about? I can smell a flowery scent. They imported a tree. That tree, standing in the middle of the containment unit, was such a beautiful sight to behold. I could feel the scent of flowers flit across my face even when there was no breeze or wind. Smelling that scent even for just a moment makes my attachment for the tree blindly grow. I was very intuitive since my childhood, so I could sense that this artificial attachment was hazardous. Ever since then, I tried everything I could to avoid contact with that tree, making all kinds of excuses whenever I was assigned to work on it. Well, if you put it that way, just this once, okay? Jeez, did that tree do something to you? My colleague's banter gets stuck in my ears. Did it do something? Yes, it did, and it scares me. A few days later, that same colleague has now become a staunch worker, wearing a constant smile on his face. I know he's always been an optimistic person, but I couldn't help but feel uneasy because his face seemed strangely comfortable. Really? Do I seem content lately? Yeah, well, that's because the tree is helping me out, he answered lightheartedly. From my years of experience, I can say for certain that few people can smile so sincerely while working for this company. That means when something keeps smiling at work, it's a sign that something went wrong. My suspicion immediately led me to report this behavior to my supervisor. The answer came sooner than I thought. It said that I am to observe the abnormality myself and file an observation report because there have been several abnormal behaviors related to this tree, which were identified in several other employees, not just the guy I reported. The order forced me to finally confront this tree that I had been avoiding as best I could. I know I couldn't pass it over to someone else this time. It was no longer a barren, naked tree I saw that day. It was imported. Instead, I saw a containment unit covered in grass that seemed to be sprawling around the tree, which was peculiar since there's no way grass can grow in a containment unit. This facility is completely inorganic. Hello, have you come to receive my blessing too? The moment I felt that something was wrong, a voice echoed in my head. It was difficult to decrypt the contents of the diary from this point onward, as the writing becomes heavily distorted. I don't know how I wrote the observation report. All that's certain is that I wrote what I felt about the tree. This beautiful plant is bringing happiness to every employee who visits this containment unit. It will soon greatly contribute to humanity's quest for prosperity and advancement. But how could an abnormality be such a good influence on humanity? I just want to help you. A voice without a single speck of malicious intent echoed again in my head. Yes, you're right. You're helping me. And if you're okay with it, could you bring all your friends who are having a hard time here? I believe I can help them. Yes, this tree will easily bring peace to their minds. Speaking of which, that newbie seemed pretty depressed lately. Hey, I know a place that will make you feel better. Come along if you want to. She followed me without any suspicion. It wasn't hard to bring her to the tree's containment unit. I offered her to the tree. She could get better. She will get better. I've brought your friend. You are a good child. Let me gift you with something. I could feel something sprouting from my body. I couldn't move my limbs. No, this isn't a bad thing. I'm being reborn with the tree. The tree has entered me, transfixed me. We proliferate and become whole. Ah, I can completely feel it now. I don't like this one. Fuck this tree. We're putting it in C. We're putting it in bottom of C. Like, it's alright, but no. I hate it. I dislike it. Annoying. Piss off. I'm keeping it in C. I'm not putting it down to D. At least it's a wow. Oh god. Or oh my god. Ooh, okay. A melting slime with resemblance to humans when inspected closely. Its containment unit is covered in mucus, its mucus secretions. Today I'd like to talk about a recent incident everyone has heard of. That's right, that dreadful incident when an army of slimes took over our facility for redacted minutes. There were several containers left in the redacted lab, which were not processed properly during experiments related to redacted. If you know about the redacted experiment, or you would already know what the contents of those containers are merely useless leftovers that only prove the experiment has failed, our researchers felt that there was no need to dispose of them. It was obvious that one newbie to the research team had no idea what was inside those containers. Employee Marie found the containers of pink slime and felt that they could pose a threat. It is assumed that she thoroughly concealed and kept them in redacted status. Sorry, I had to check something. If my assumption is correct, the melted object in those containers was probably the redacted of redacted. I became sure of this when I read the passage that described its appearance as that of an adolescent human. I don't know if it was fortunate for us or not, but its memories, including those of the experiments, were completely gone. It could barely speak a word or two. It was also mentally unstable. It became extremely nervous whenever Marie was not present. A brother. Marie had a brother whom she lost during her childhood. It all started when she felt an attachment to the childlike pink slime that followed her around. Marie showed an unprecedented level of decrease in her mental corruption. Indeed, it was extremely unusual. Of course, I was certain the abnormality somehow affected her in a positive way, but that was the end of the benefits. Her colleagues started noticing her odd behaviors, and they tried to ask her about them if it was the right thing to do. They were educated about the potential implications of a steep decrease in mental corruption levels, and understood that a person disappearing every single break time is a dangerous sign. However, Marie didn't say a word to them and ended up detained in the counseling room until she opened up. Meanwhile, this slimy creature that had forgotten everything instinctively remembered one thing. It had to get out of the facility no matter what. This abnormality once again felt extremely nervous when Marie didn't show up on time. It thought that she was in danger. That is why it decided to escape with her. A rare bond had formed between these two. They cared about each other from the bottom of their hearts. Confined within the counseling room, Marie eventually gave up her right to remain silent and began to reveal what she had done, how she kept the contents inside the container, and how she was able to form a bond with it. However, she couldn't finish her words. This was because she melted in the blink of an eye. Moments after signs of an anomaly showed up on her skin. Yes, she quite literally melted in her entirely. in her entirety. And that was the end of it. The slime that once was Marie seconds ago began to move. It wasn't a difficult task for a fluid creature to slide under the door of the counseling room. Did it have a speck of human rationality? Nope. Just like a newborn duckling blindly follows its mother, it simply moved towards the abnormality. And it wasn't just Marie that turned to slime. Every single employee who had made contact with her in some way began to melt too. Those who were questioning her, those who had shared a meal with her, those who had worked together. Soon, this army of slime began to attack other employees. All for the mother slime, the abnormality they loved. Yes, out of love, and love alone, they killed. And my dear employees, I do hope you all didn't forget to put on the gas masks we distributed before we entered, did you? I do hope that no one took it off, out of boredom or stuffiness. I must inform you that some of you are already infected with the slime I told you about. We did not give gas masks to some of you, and we did say that it is because we were out of stock. Though, to be truthful, it was just so we could distinguish between those who are infected and those who are not. You may feel fine now, but before an hour passes, your flesh and bones will start to melt and your mind will disintegrate into pitch black nothingness. Then you will begin trying to wreak havoc on this facility. You'll probably, as your first action in your new form, jump at the employees sitting right next to you, all for a mess of slime you so adore. Yes, I know, it's unbelievable. You feel so alive and clear now, just how on earth could you melt down into slime? And yet you will. It's not your fault, of course. Someone among you made contact with the slime abnormality. You were just the unlucky sap who happened to be around that person. It's meaningless now to determine patient zero. I doubt they had any idea how catastrophic the results of their actions will be. I doubt they had any idea how catastrophic the results of their actions would be. What? Oh, that's a double line. Project Moon! Have a good night, Naira. Project Moon, you double typed! Fix your game! They did it out of pure affection, after all. Finally, those unaffected who are wearing masks, please ensure that you pay extra attention to your hygiene and immediately report when you see an employee acting out of the ordinary. You'll simply be infected as well if you attempt to help them. Now, your desks. There will be 9mm pistols, all perfectly locked and loaded. What you must do now should be clear. We will not open the doors until the situation is taken care of. If you think this is too cruel, allow me to remind you this is your job. I hope to see you again once everything has been handled. I hate this thing. Decent log. Very SCP. It's going in B. Okay. Okay, just one more. Why is this slime hot? I don't know, man. But you might be patient zero then. I think we're gonna have to get out the execution bullets. Do not the slime. I'm going in! Alright. Clouded Monk. D01110. In the Redacted century, a monk named Redacted from the province of Redacted walked the path of Buddhism. Seeking liberation and true enlightenment, he was on the road to his home country to spread his philosophy, when he heard that an old monk was being cremated in a nearby town. He felt he should go witness it, however, a man stopped him. "Excuse me, sir, there's a rumor that an evil spirit lingers in the town you're heading towards." The monk replied, "Evil spirits are naturally born from one's heart. How could I miss the cremation of a great monk simply because a rumor has been spread?" He then continued on his way to the town of Redacted. When the monk arrived, people from all around the town were gathered in ceremony. They were gazing at the corpse of the old monk, chanting the name of Guanxian. Guanyin! 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 Their chant was born more out of desperation than something they yearned for. Rather than commemoration, the funeral pyre started crackling as it was fed with kindling. The sound of wooden percussion echoed, and the chanting grew louder and louder. Soon the crowd started buzzing with nervousness. Something's not right. The people were greatly disappointed by the amount of saria that appeared. There were no more than 2 spoonfuls. Shocked, the people soon turned into an angry crowd. It makes no sense that such a great monk had such little sarira. Clearly he was lacking in the practice of asceticism. He must not have done many good deeds. The visiting monk himself was baffled. He was unfamiliar with such an obsession with sariria at a cremation. And even he was expecting the proper amount of sariria that a great monk would deserve. The monk spoke to a man behind him in the crowd. How dare they be upset at such a sacred ceremony? A slight distance away, a very old man in the crowd answered instead. The poor and the hungry yearn for miracles to save them. But how you're dressed, I would guess that you're also on the path of a Buddhist. This event must have worried you. The monk responded in a slightly disturbed tone. Sarira forms when a monk has bettered his body and spirit and finally achieves nirvana. It is a natural process and not to be artificially wanted. How can you call it a miracle? The old man burst out with laughter. This monk was known well here for his good deeds. He shared food with the hungry, his clothes with those who were cold. However, as they say, it seems he was unable to reach true nirvana, as only 2 spoonfuls of sarira were found. He ended up being a miserable old monk who couldn't achieve nirvana, even though he was a well-respected man, and known as a benevolent living saint. Do you think you'll be any different? I have proudly practiced. They say the monk from the Temple of Redacted had earned more than 300 spoonfuls of sarira. Colorful lights sparkled across the sky as the crowd paid devout prayers at his cremation, and his sarira were as round as pearls. The emperor himself ordered 4 temples to be built in his name. The monk could not reply. But the creation of sarira is a natural process all go through. It is well known that Buddhist sarira were enough to fill a grand palace when he was cremated, or that Buddha's sarira were enough to fill a grand palace when he was cremated. One day your body shall fail and eventually lead to the eternal heaven. Someday people will be there for your cremation, just like now. The monk was silent. If nothing is found in your ashes, you will be a sinner of the Trilyoka, and your path will ultimately reach nowhere. However, if enough sarira are found from you that everyone looks on in awe, your name will be sung for generations. The emperor will be awestruck and build a huge temple in your name, and the people will chant while admiring the pagoda of that temple. This feeble old man is telling you all this because I can see one of the greatest monks. Listen, a few hours walk from here there is a mound we call Redacted. Go up there and you will see several old pagodas. Inside of them are the boxes of sarira from long-forgotten great monks. Why, they'll just return to the soil if nothing happens to them, but if you were to consume them, perhaps you would display more sarira than Buddha himself. The monk then realized the old man was suspicious, and did not sound as an old man would. However, the old man was gone in a flash, and he tried to catch a glimpse of his face. The monk concluded that he must have been a trick of the devil, and tried to forget what the old man had said. But the old man's voice lingered in his ears as he tried to sleep. He decided the best way to clear his mind was to go on a walk. As he walked, he somehow found himself around the pagodas the old man had mentioned. They were supposed to be a few hours' travel from where he had been staying. For a long while, only a chant of Amamidawahra echoed around the pagodas. Excerpt from a folk tale from the province of Redacted. They say at night a mysterious sound can be heard around the pagodas and statues in the area of Redacted. It is said that the source of the sound is a preta, a demonic creature with long arms, claws, and an unnaturally big mouth. Some say this creature carries a shattered Japala, Japamala. However, the exact details are unconfirmed. After this creature appears, people find that offered Sarira boxes are forcefully opened, with their contents removed. Furthermore, monks who stay in this province must not sleep alone. They should go also visit a nearby temple to receive a talisman that wards off evil spirits, and ensure they carry it at all times. This tale has become widespread across the region, and has led to the tradition of chanting certain lines at pagodas where Sarira is stored when cremation takes place. The chant translates into this: Are you a monk? Are you a monk? You are no longer a monk. A demon shall never reach heaven. This chant is orated to the monk who has not yet realized that he has become a demon. Interesting. Yeah, virtue and following religious dogma, giving into the desire to reach heaven, sacrificing for that sort of thing. That's an interesting lore. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I'm putting him an A. Putting him an A. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the A. I'm feeling the A. Also, Big Bird's getting moved up now since A tier has gotten a little bit big. What's the D prefix? Donor. It means he was one that was proposed by one of the original funders of Lobotomy Corporation. You can see this abnormality was created with the ideas provided by Tumblebug backer Naldrin. So. And finally, bald. God, do we have to read this? Warning, you have been hit by the Baldy Bald psychological attack. If a non-bald person reads this, they'll be granted the privilege to go bald at an extremely rapid pace. If one wants to stop this from happening, they must be assigned to work on this abnormality. In addition... Oh, have I lost my audio? I have lost my audio. There we go. I lost the music, though. Oh, my avatar's dead? No, he's not. My avatar's alive. In addition, if you find 10 or more strands of hair on your pillow in the morning, it is recommended to peruse this encyclopedia article at least 3 times. Oh, I don't like bald either, don't worry. Bill, I had an amazing dream today. Brian, why, did you win the lottery or something? When I got to work, everyone here was bald, including you, maybe even people outside this corporation. I think you've been pretty stressed lately. Why don't you take counseling? Employee Bill suffered an unfortunate accident with the singing machine that day. Right after the accident, Abnormality Bald is Awesome appeared in the facility. We all cherish the memories of Bald Bill. If one comes into contact with the abnormality, they will either talk or write about the positive aspects of baldness for about an hour and ultimately make themselves go bald. If you become bald, you can save time because you don't have to wash and dry your hair anymore, allowing for you to be richer than others. No adverse reactions will happen if a bald employee is assigned to work with the abnormality. The bald don't have to worry about hair loss. If a non-bald employee is assigned, they will shave off their own hair. Bald people can even reflect light off their head and blind opponents like a solar flare. This abnormality's goal is to make every single human on Earth bald. We won't need light bulbs for our facility if there are more bald employees because it reflects off their heads. This allows us to save a tremendous amount of our budget. If a non-bald employee is sent to work this abnormality, it'll produce less energy. Did you know that every single noble in Europe during the Middle Ages was bald? They'd change their wig every day. We've added some new rules to the company code of conduct. If you spot an XXX mocking their coworker with alopecia areata, they will be labeled as a herstut and will be banned from using the lounge for an indefinite period. They will also be forbidden from joining the company's debate club. Questioners of the absent of bald Barbies, the gourmet meetup, Octopi over Squid, and the environmental protection group Save the Bald Eagles. These regulations will be lifted as soon as the rule breaker's hair strand count goes below 1. Lastly, I dedicate this article to employee TH, who is quietly taking balding medicine next to me right now. What a weird... Yeah, bald goes in fetus tier because the fetus is bald. This is the one singular joke, Abno. Alright. And then we have the button. I like it. I think the button's fun. I think it's funny. I think it's silly, so I'm putting it in S tier, just simply because of that. It was unexpected, it scared me. What does the button do? If you press it on the loading screen, it will break your screen, play a cutscene, and then crash the game. If you press it during workday, it will, depending on if you click its info or if you click the button itself, it will either breach all the Abnos in the facility or kill all your employees. Its name is literally "Don't Touch Me." And sure enough, don't touch it. That's all. So. High risk, no reward. I mean, it's technically no risk, you just don't touch it. It will change its appearance in the containment chambers to make it seem like it's supposed to be worked with potentially, but I don't know. Anyway, this is our tier list. We're done. We survived. Here we go. Here, let me zoom out so you guys can see it. There we go. Tier list done. I'm not moving anything because it's late and I'm tired and I want pizza, and there's a pizza place that's open like 24/7 next to me, so I'm gonna go get some pizza because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Terrible tier list. Red Shoes is horribly overrated. Okay, there we go. Now it's peak. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Since this is the last LobCorp stream, thank you all for joining me for this game. This has been a fun experience. I really enjoyed it. I will be looking forward to Ruina as soon as I can. We're gonna definitely get through. Oh my god, Jesus. Honk. A honk to you too. And but we'll do a little bit of a break for the non Project Moon people among us. We'll honk you too. But for everyone else, or for just everyone, period, you all stay safe, stay fresh. You have a wonderful rest of your night. I might be back tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure, but otherwise I'll be back on Sunday. So, you all take care. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting me read to you. I hope you enjoyed my little bedtime story. All right, you all. Have a good one. Stay safe, stay fresh. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.